Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network. Tonight we got the season finale, race number 11 for the Casual Sim Racers League GT Series, as we are north of the border. A little foggy out there, but we are here at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, also known as MoSport, and this is going to be the site of the 2-hour season finale. Triple points on the line. Unfortunately, it looks like, well, I guess fortunately for Craig Jancic, but it looks like Craig is going to be able to walk home with the championship this year, once again this season. Chris Hamilton not in attendance here tonight, so looks like the Pro Division is all locked up. We'll take a look at the AM class here in a second, but I want to bring in my co-commentator here as Carl Lambert joining the booth, as always, by Jimmy Cobra. Jimmy, this is a fun little track here, but you want to talk about some undulations? You got them here.
Yeah, this is probably one of the funnest tracks that I like to drive, and just kind of got out there and did a few laps before they were qualifying, and you kind of wonder where I would stand amongst these awesome drivers out here, and you know, when you can get into that top 10, and you feel pretty good, and that usually put you in there with the pro-rated drivers here at CSRL. So, and that's, you know, coming off of not really driving very much except a little bit of practice for the Nürburgring. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to attend, but the you know, it's a lot of fun out here. This track's fast. There's quirks to it, and you really need to know the track and how the car reacts as far as like when the tires warm up on full fuel, on empty fuel, and you know, it's really about nailing them corners, getting that braking zone down. The slightest mistake sends you off, and if you do it in the wrong place, you can find yourself in the wall. And you know, talking and listening to these drivers, obviously they have 2 hours around here, Carl, and they only have one fast repair. They're limited to 50% fuel, so no like going in and topping off on a full tank. So things are going to be a little different here, and there's a lot of points on the line.
Absolutely. We'll take a look at the point standings for the AM class, because as we said, it is triple points here tonight, and that means that we got 4 drivers that are mathematically in there with a possibility to take home the championship. Cesar Colon Torres has been riding quite a bit of a high here lately, and it's seen him now take the lead in the points. Anthony Hutchinson, excuse me, is back out here tonight. Can he do enough to reclaim the points lead? Excuse me, and take this title? It's gonna take a bit of a Herculean effort now, because he sees himself 29 points down. Glenn Lazan right there in second place, 23 or 24 points down. So it's looking good right now for Cesar Colon Torres, but qualifying not so much. We'll take a look at the qualifying results for tonight, and it's going to see Craig Jancic on the pole here once again for one last time this season. Bryce Reiner are going to join him on that front row. Anthony Hutchinson, Herbert Pineda, Braxton Jarrett for your top 5. Then you got Tyler Torville, Dan Morera, Jim Dutton, Trent Blaylock, Todd Torville for your top 10. Steve McLean, Ian Wilson, William Burrell, Christian Ortiz Torres, Glenn Lazan for your top 15. Then you got Cesar Colon Torres, Brandon Potts, Paul Bailey, and Robin Falvey. Not sure if Falvey is going to be taken to the grid here or not. But 19 cars set to take the green flag here tonight. And we get back to talking about the track here, Jimmy. There's a lot of tracks that we can, you know, kind of look at the track and see, okay, you know, this corner reminds me of this place. This little part right here reminds me of this kind of complex. You don't really have that here at MoSport. This thing is just, it's unique. It's got its own characteristics. It's got its own tough spots. It's got its own fun sections. And to me, it really, I mean, maybe you could look at a track like Barber and say that maybe it's got some kind of characteristics like Barber, but other than that, I mean, MoSport's just kind of there by itself.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few areas, you know, for preferred passing. There's some areas where you really got be careful if you're going too wide, and the one that is off the mind is like after turn 1, you go down this little dip over the hill, and it's kind of like a blind crest and down to the left, and it's off camber. So you know, you have to be like kind of prepare yourself for that, and the car's weight shift. If not, you'll find yourself off in the grass, and hopefully the drivers out here are aware of that. Obviously with the the misfortune of Monza, but definitely don't need a relapse of what happened there just at the start of the race. So, and it could happen here. I mean, only with the with how difficult that turn can be. So, rest of the track is pretty good, except for the initial the double right-hander, which is very tight, and it's uphill, and again it takes the car kind of off camber. You're going around two tight corners, you're trying to carry as much speed as possible, and you're trying to get an exit to head down that final stretch, hopefully to maybe get a pass down there before the final little S's before the final turn. But yeah, great little track, technical, got some speed, and some altitude changes is very awesome there. But Barney's waving the flag, and here they go down to turn number 1.
Certainly much better this time heading down into turn number 1. The driver's got a bit of stern talking to exercise some patience on the first lap here, and don't do anything like they did at Monza. A bit wide there for Jancic, and he's going to drop back through the field. You cannot go that wide, touch that grass. He's going to have to make up some positions right now heading into turn 3. And now down the backstretch is kind of one of two places here that you can breathe a little bit, going down into 4, but then you head down into Moss, and this is where it gets very interesting here, down into the entry and then the exit, the double right-hander. Really tight section here. You want to stay off those curbs because it will throw you for a bit of a loop there. But now heading down the backstretch and kind of the second part of the track where you can breathe a little bit, let the car roar all the way down this backstretch into turn number 7, just a light little right-hand corner, a little bit of a straightaway, and then you got the S section that goes to the right in turn 8, to the left in turn 9, and then back just 10 turns here, and it goes by pretty quickly here as the field is going to complete lap number 1 here at MoSport. And out in front, it is Bryce Reiner taking that Mustang out to the lead. He's in front of Herbert Pineda, Tyler Torville, Anthony Hutchinson, Craig Jancic back there in 5th place after a bit of a adventurous start there, but certainly kept all 4 tires still pointing in the right direction, but I'm sure he had left off a little bit getting in that grass.
Yeah, the grass coming over that corner is one of the scariest turns that can end your night pretty quickly. Obviously, it's just kind of letting off the gas, holding on to it, trying to get that car, slowed down slowly. But if you jam on the brakes, it's like ice. The grass acts like ice. You end up in the wall. So finds himself back a few spots, but is still in the race here as we're very early in the race, only in lap 2 minutes in. We're going to do plenty of laps here tonight, and I think the big thing that's going to play into these drivers' hands. Every week we do a 45-minute race here with CSRL, and tonight they decide, obviously, to give it a little more of a challenge being the finale, bring out the old 2-hour clock, and 50% fuel. So these drivers got fuel to think about, they have tires to think about, they have 2 hours that they need to think about and hit each and every turn correctly, or they'll find themselves in a bit of a pickle. So, but got to move there down the inside. Jancic's going to be on that outside, going over that hill one more time.
Well, and you're talking about the drivers we're thinking about. I'm already thinking about next season and thinking about 2 drivers right here that could be competing against each other. Hutchinson still in the AM class this season, but you see him putting up quite a fight here, quite a battle. Does not want to just roll over and give this position to Jancic. Still side by side, heading down into 4 and down into Moss. This is not going to be a section where they want to go side by side, and there it is. Jancic gonna go sideways. Luckily, it spins him off the side of the track there, but definitely some contact between the 2 and the 88 as looks like Jancic gets back going here. Not a dream start for the man that should be good to go for the points championship, but again, triple points. I mean, not sure about Bryce Reiner. I mean, he comes in here quite a bit back here in 3rd place in the points. We'll take a look at it because I kind of figured this was a bit of a foregone conclusion, and it very well could be yet, depending on the drop races. But I mean, Reiner comes in 48 points behind Craig Jancic, so mathematically still technically I think in the mix of it, but it's going to take quite a bit here to get back up there and battle for this championship. But I mean, Craig Jansen keeps having some issues like this. You never know what can happen.
It's hard, you know. Obviously you know that you're fast, but being fast is one thing. Being able to get around, you know, somebody else is another. So, and to work your way through the field, you're gonna have to start thinking about your pit stops. You're gonna start optimizing your laps. Hopefully you don't have damage on that car that's gonna put you in a position where you can't make your way back to the front. We have seen Jansen, you know, drive away, you know, in just a 45-minute race. Definitely a very fast driver. As you know, been class act for most of it, you know, and anything that was out there, I'm sure, was incidental, or you know, maybe just close, hard racing. And you know, that's the way these drivers have been all season, and it's not going to change here for 2 hours. They're going to race pretty much as hard as they can from lap 1 all the way to the end, not many will go ahead and sit and relax and just kind of let things kind of roll over. They're going to fight for each position. So they took it easy on lap 1. They were able to make that complete. Just almost a little mishap there kind of on Jansic. So, you know, obviously Jansic moving back to the field. Obviously, maybe a little bit on his fault. Obviously getting stuck in that outside, so not giving up the little bit of room and losing spots. It's a tough spot that, to start off on first, being P number 1, because if you don't get that good start, and P number 2 is in that inside, they now have that inside for that over the hill and left-hand turn. That 2 can be a troublesome spot. So, but right now it is Bryce out front with Herb Pineda, Tyler Torville, Anthony Hutchinson, and Dan Morera for your top 5. Oh, in the 5, and that's 5th place. Oh, that was.
Paul Bailey spun around backwards, but it looks like Braxton Jarrett also going off track here a little bit. This is in Moss, and this is exactly what can happen. You go a little bit wide in that first right-hander, and you're going to work your way back on just in front of the 85 there, Steve McLean. Well, taking a look at our M-Class drivers competing for that championship, you got right now Anthony Hutchinson up in 4th place overall, doing exactly what he needs to do. But then you got to look pretty far back, as you got Glenn Lazan back here in 12th position, and then Cesar Colon Torres back in 14th, and kind of a surprising start from both of these guys. We usually see both of them kind of qualifying at least in the top 5 within the AM class, but both qualifying pretty far back there tonight, so gonna need some help to move their way through the field. And then you got Brandon Potts back here as well, but he is last among the 4 of them, running in 10th place in the AM class, 16th overall. So a long way to go. Anything can and I'm sure will happen here tonight. But as it stands right now, Anthony Hutchinson doing what he's got to do to try and reel some of those points back in. And Cesar Colon Torres not really helping himself, being all the way back there in 14th. Bryce Reiner leads the way. Robert Pineda in 2nd. Tyler Torville for your top 3. And you got Hutchinson and Morera rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, definitely a long time to be here. Obviously, that whole hour and 50 minutes still remaining, and we're yet to see kind of anybody really break away. I mean, got Rainer out front, got nice clean air right at the moment, but it could be just a matter of time before you start thinking about lap traffic and whatnot. So you just gotta take it easy right now. If home Bryce, obviously you want to continue to move. Just make sure you focus and hit those points. I did follow Bryce around the track for a few times as a ghost car. Was able to stay around on this bumper, and if you got some speed in that Ford Mustang here tonight, and as long as he keeps it good and clean, he should find himself within that top 3, or even within here tonight. But looking good there for Bryce, and Herb Pineda doing some good work here too. But we're back here looking at Ian Wilson. Okay, back up to Herb Pineda. Back to Ian Wilson.
There we go. Back to Ian Wilson.
All right. Yeah, Ian Wilson back here doing some good work. Kind of in the middle here, and this is a place what I call it it's where the middle of the field is, and basically I call it the war zone, because it could be a fast driver's bad track and they find themselves there. It could be a slower driver's number 1 track and they find themselves there. And if you're in the middle, you could be battling all kinds of different skill levels of drivers, and trying to make your way up through the field as well. So it's just a kind of a battle zone. Most of the incidents happen around this area, but also some of the best racing. We've seen past few weeks, we've seen the AM drivers just kind of 1, 2, 3 or nose to tail and putting on a great finish. So looking to see what they can do after 2 hours. 10 minutes in right now. Back here with Craig Jancic is sitting in at P number 15. So obviously not the place he wants to be. So he has to pick and choose on like how to get around. There's easier spots to pass people, and then like if you don't get the run out of the corner, might be trying to dive it in a little bit. So maybe some sense of like I need to get up front. I can't just throw away this championship like this. I don't want to finish last, and next thing I know, I got Bryce taking over my hard-earned points for the season. Not that he would be too mad. I don't think Bryce is a great competitor, and things happen, but would definitely be a little down on himself here to have such a great season and have it kind of swept away as the beginning of the last race of the season. But right now he is in 15th, riding behind Torres. So he's got some work to do. He's just got to be patient, let it come to him. There's a pass there for a position, so it's going to move him to 14th. As the Torres got off the track just a little bit. So yeah, just got to be patient, man. It's just all as it is, and 2 hours is a lot longer than some people think it is.
I mean, patience is what he's going to exercise right now. He's got to be smart, make smart passes here. As you see, he dives out of the inside, and the 11 of T-Story is giving a wide enough berth in the corner. But he's also got to have a little bit of sense of urgency as well. I mean, he's already down 17 seconds to Reiner, and back there being stuck behind some of these cars that are in the mid-pack, he was running about 1.5 seconds slower per lap. So he's got to be cautious. He doesn't want to get caught up in another kerfuffle and find himself back there once again. But in the same case, he's got to try and make those moves maybe a little bit quicker than he wants to if he wants to have a chance to kind of end this championship run out on top like he likes to do. He likes to make sure it's secured by winning that last race and leave no stone unturned. But now he's going to be coming up to a couple of guys battling in their own championship as Glenn Lazan and Cesar Colon Torres getting together. Big impact out of the corner, and Jansen gets a piece of it as well. And this is not going to be good here. We'll take a look at this incident here again, heading into the final complex. Cesar Colon Torres tries to make the pass on the entry to the second part of the S's there and gets into the 69. Both cars spinning sideways. Big impact there for the 69. Looks like Cesar Colon Torres gets away with minimal damage, if anything. And I think Jansen got a piece of that as well and immediately brought the car into pit lane. So two of our championship competitors getting together. One championship leader that we thought was kind of locked in is really having a rough race to start here, and maybe gonna have to use that fast repair right away. And I think Glenn Lazan's gonna have to do the same thing. This is exactly what Anthony Hutchinson would want to have happen. I'm sure he would rather be actually racing his competitors out there for the win, but he needs to gain chunks. He needs to gain big chunks here in the points. And right now he's sitting in 4th, and you got Cesar Colon Torres back there in 12th, and Glenn Lazan back there in 18th. So this is a dream start for the number 2 right now.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, miss a few races, real life happens, so not able to attend, but put himself, having all them great finishes and getting, enough points to kind of float him over there to kind of give him a chance here in the finale. But, it's not over yet. I mean, obviously, earlier you've seen how fast things happen, and even the fastest of the drivers out there, and they're, just tied up on one little mistake. Drivers trying to make things happen here, the urgency to get around each other, at that point of time, it's like, can I get around them? Can I pull away? It's early enough. There's a lot, there's a lot of things that can happen, because if you make a mistake, the next thing you know, you find yourself, behind the Powerball. So, but right now, that little incident obviously put a few of the drivers behind, and obviously some are still out there. But right now it's Hutchinson up front, running down Torville. Marrero there in between Jim Dutton. So I'm kind of Jim Dutton there to get another win here with the AM Series. He's been putting on some great shows, and obviously our local, our local, I guess if you call him that, for up north. So definitely trying to get himself a great finish here, and trying to get a better finish than a worse finish, obviously, as it should be his home track. So, but either way, it's a great race so far. Bryce Rayner on top over Herbert Pineda, Tyler Torville for your top three, then Anthony Hutchinson, Deborah, Jim Dutton, Chet Bullock, and then Braxton Jarrett, Stephen McLean, and then Ian Wilson for your top 10.
Their other hometown hero here, Ian Wilson, is the other Canadian here in the field. One thing I will say is lap 9, when Jensen came in there and kind of ran around 15 minutes in, maybe there's still a chance that he's still kind of on the same pit cycle in terms of how many pit stops they're going to have to make. If they're kind of locked in there to that 50% fuel, they're going to be looking at a minimum of 3 pit stops here before this thing is over. I don't think there's any way you can stretch it out for 2, but where Craig Jansen comes into the pits, they're having to come into the pits to take that fast repair. He may still be able to stretch this thing out and just make it on 2 more pit stops. So he may not exactly be out of the realm of possibilities of making some moves to get back out there. Realistically, I mean, we'll take a look at the trap map if we can finally get up. There we go. He's got some clean air right now. He's got plenty of clean air. He can finally let that Mustang eat a little bit, get some good times in there. Just running the second fastest lap of the race. Reiner had a 15.98, and lap for Jansic a 15.99. So yeah, he's on it. He's got the pace. He just needs to find some clean air, which he's doing right now. And this is his chance to really start to gain on those guys at the front. A little bit of a mistake there coming out of turn number 10, but all in all, another good lap there, and it's exactly what he needs to do. Low 16s right there, faster than the leaders for that time by. But know what you mean. Hopefully within these 2 hours of the race, this fog lifts a little bit. We can really let these cars shine. But it's a pretty thick fog up here in Canada right now.
Yeah, a little bit of fog. It's okay. I mean, it does affect the track though. It keeps it a little cooler. It might get a little wet, or not like moist or whatever. It just makes it a little bit different to drive. So some things that the drivers don't 100% take in as a deciding factor on how your car should handle and how it changes. But it definitely has more effect than I think most normal drivers would think. So, but definitely a little foggy out here. But right now you're looking at Anthony Hutchinson right there in front of Dan Marrero. So Dan Marrero looking to maybe get around Hutchinson, but Jim Dutton right there, right on the tail there of Dan, and just trying to make things work here. So they go through this that double right-hander, and man, I've seen so many accidents on the double right-hander, and
I've been involved. I've been involved in one.
So many accidents have been at that point. But Dan Marrero looking on the inside as a positioning. Obviously this isn't like a big a hit there on the 2, but does take him out of the top 4, puts him back in P15, but that puts Jim Dutton right on his tail. So is the Porsche starting to feel the effects of the tire wear call?
Well, it's not a big position per se in regards to getting beat by anyone else right now in his class, but you see him fighting hard. That's why he fought hard with Jansic earlier. That's why he's fighting hard with Marrero right now, because again, he needs every single point possible. These points are paid out per overall position, not per class. So it's not like the winner of each class gets paid out the same amount. It gets paid from top to bottom. At least I believe so. I need to double check and correct myself, but I mean, right now he is fighting because he knows maybe just running as hard as he can, and just hope upon hope that it works out for him, or maybe he's got little birdies in his ear letting him know, like, hey, you got a shot here, because Cesar Clone is still back there in 11th, slowly working his way up through the field. Obviously, getting involved with the incident there with Glenn Lazan, who was stuck back there in 18th position, looking to reel in and make a pass here on Paul Bailey. But a lot of race to go yet. I mean, we still got an hour 40 left in this thing, and you know, again, a lot can happen. We had a lot happen already in this first 20 minutes, and Paul Bailey goes a little bit wide there, and got to do a little lawn maintenance.
I mean, that's about as safe as you can be, you know, going down through the grass and coming back on. That is a very tough corner to correct once you're in that grass. I am glad that iRacing gave the grass a little bit of grip when it comes down to when they made some of the changes, but definitely still slick surface out there, and at least now you have a slight chance of you know, surviving those, and Bailey was able to do that. So good on Bailey there. It's maybe not having the race he wants, but definitely being able to keep control of the car, keep off the ball, keep it going. You know, to get to the end was pretty good driving there.
Well, already getting lapped here as Ilya Bryce Reiner keeps putting it down here and putting out some great laps as he is out to a 3-second lead over Herbert Pineda. Fastest lap of the race, ran the last lap. But Craig Jansen, he is trying to work his way up through this field via laying down some good, hard, fast laps here while he's got the clean air. He's slowly catching up here to William Burrell. But then after Burrell, he's going to have a nice little gap again until he gets up there to Todd Torville. So this is definitely the kind of the time of the race that Craig just needs to 100, 1,000, a million% focus on just laying down great laps here, because this is where he can really make some inroads when it comes to the pit cycle going through here. But out front again, it is Reiner, Pineda, and Torville for your top three. And then Dan Barrera still holding off Anthony Hutchinson for that top five. Jim Dutton, Trent Blaylock, Braxton Jarrett, Steve McLean, and Ian Wilson for your top 10. As good battle back here for 9th and 10th between McLean and Ian Wilson.
Yeah, just great run everywhere so far, and just you know, obviously these drivers are, you know, at that about halfway mark of a normal race. And well, they have a lot longer to go. That's all I can say. It's literally, you know, obviously, even if they double their races, 45 minutes, you're only looking at an hour and a half. You know, so they're getting an extra 30 minutes on top of that. So almost 3 times as long as their typical race. And that focus, you know, after a while, that starts going, you know, it starts going away, or you're just in a groove and everything feels good. So if you're out there and you're having some trouble, if you let one slip up kind of get at you, it can really put you backwards. You know, obviously, I think, you know, you talked about Craig Jansick being down there and being in that clean air, and you know, it might have been like a small gift in, you know, in disguise, to be honest, Carl, because, you know, running in clean air and then not having to worry about passing anybody, and then hopefully you crawl up on somebody and, you know, they don't fight you too much because they're not battling anybody. They're like, all right, this guy caught me, I just let him roll, I'm just going to keep going. But when you roll up on a pack that's fighting for position, they don't like to just roll over and let the faster car go. I mean, it's probably one of the more frustrating things that I have to deal with when I do like multi-car racing. You know, I'm in a battle with somebody, I'm fighting for P3, and here comes P13 from some faster class and thinks that they need to get by right this moment as you're, you know, trying to, you know, maybe make a move in a corner, and ends up throwing everything off, and everything that you worked on for like 4 or 5 laps has gone to the wayside. Now you got to rebuild everything up, get that momentum going again, you know, and hopefully it didn't throw you off, you know, far enough where the guy was able to pull out away from you for a couple seconds. So it really does get frustrating. You know, some of the like when you're in a multi-class environment, I'm not saying here, but when you're in a multi-class environment, some of the back markers of the faster classes can really hinder, you know, something that, you know, could be one heck of a battle that's brewing between, you know, like a 3rd and 4th, or a 2nd and 1st, or something like that. I've seen it, been part of it, and it definitely stinks. And I tend to try to give those drivers some room when I'm in a faster car, and pass them in a place that won't affect pretty much their race. So pass them early on a long straight, or just let off and kind of let it happen. So if you're like a slower car, like I said, I always usually tend to let up anymore these days. It's just safer. I think the other drivers out there appreciate it.
And I don't think, drivers in the slower classes realize how much you can gain or lose in those situations as well. Everyone just, tries to, either drive their line or tries to race them hard, or, not wanting to make a move to let anybody by. This is my line. The faster car is going to find a way around, and to an extent, yes, that is true. The faster car needs to find a way around, and you're entitled to the racing line. But in the same case, you need to be smart about it. And there's so much that you can gain on that car that you were chasing. And maybe, if you let that faster car by as Trent Blaylock spins it out of turn number 2, nose it into the wall. But if you let that faster car by in the right spot, you're not going to lose that much time. And if your competitor that you're trying to get up there and pass, fights him hard, it's just going to come right back to you, and you have a chance then maybe to make that pass when the faster car goes by as well. And it's the same thing, as the faster car. You gotta be smart about it. You don't want to take yourself out. You don't want to take anybody else out. I know these guys out here, it's not multi-class racing, but it's the same thing. I mean, if you have a faster car coming up on you, I take it akin to Formula One. In Formula One, everybody's out there in the same type of car. I know some are definitely faster than others, but that's why you hear the team radio sometimes. This isn't our fight. Don't battle this guy that hard. Maybe not pull over and let them by, but don't race them too hard. There's no sense of wearing out your tires, wearing out your equipment, fighting them and losing ground on the car in front of you or losing ground in the car behind you. You're sometimes better off just let that faster car go by and maybe, I don't know, learn a little bit. Learn why they're that fast. Learn what kind of lines that they're running, where they're braking, how they're accelerating, everything like that. There's always something to learn out here.
Yeah, you can, even the faster guys can learn off the slower guys. It works, works its way around, a lot. And, being the fastest guy out there is probably like the hardest spot to be when it comes to a league, because if you only have, one person, other person or something that you're battling with, that's the person that you're fighting with week in and week out, and it's hard to learn from each other. Yes, you're already fast, but if you're a fast driver, you should try to get in, obviously try to get some more faster drivers around you so you can hone in your craft, you can get better, you can fine-tune yourself to, maybe make less mistakes or be more smooth, or better throttle application, or a better braking point, a better turning point, whatever it may be. So there's just all kinds of things that you can learn. Slower drivers get, I think, the most benefit of being around a lot of fast drivers. You might not feel it from week to week running in the league, but I can guarantee it 100% that if you run with a league and you just continue to do it on a consistent basis, you can find yourself feeling like, all right, I'm bored, let me go run an official. And you're like, oh wow, why is, say I'm 1,000 iRating, and I go out there and I'm like, why do these guys feel so slow? Well, I just spent a whole season or two racing the same people, always finishing 14th, 15th, whatever it may be. But now I'm finding myself up front, so it's because they've spent the time with maybe a little better drivers to give them, even if they don't think about it, just that assistance or that knowledge of the tracks and everything like that to help them be a better driver overall. So, but right now, Carl, we're heading up on that almost that 30-minute mark. We're at about 28 minutes here. Bryce Rainer is still out front. He's got a nice little lead, got about almost 5 seconds over Herb Pineda. Tyler Torville there sitting in third, Dan Moreira's in fourth, Anthony Hutchins for the top 5, then Jim Dunn, Braxton Jarrett, Stephen McLean, Christian Ortiz Torres, and Craig Jancic has made his way back up to the 10th place.
Yeah, and only coming up on a quarter of the way through this race, so still about an hour and a half left in this thing. I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything the Senior has to offer us. This is kind of the part of the season right now where we got leagues starting up and we got championships that are getting dealt out. Obviously, we have on Sunday, this past Sunday, we started up a new series, 191 Motorsports, with their series. On this coming Monday, we will start up another one with HBYA. And then we have the championships, obviously, here tonight. We have the championship finale for CSRL. Triple points, 2 hours here for this one to decide the Pro and M Class champions. On Tuesday coming up, we are going to have the championship race for the Core Xfinity Series, as they'll be crowning their 4 champions for the season. In the Core GT Series, next Thursday will be their season finale. So lots coming to an end, a few starting up, and it'll only be a short time before we'll see the 2 Core Series, the CSRL Series, all starting back up again as well. And it's a fun time here. And I know it's getting to be the summer months. We finally had a little bit of summer weather here for us. We actually touched the 80s. It actually didn't rain for once. I'm not going to whine about it on broadcast. I'm going to say I'm tired of making up t-ball and softball games, but at least we got one in here tonight. But we got a good one out here, and the weather at least is holding off. Maybe not so much the fog up here in Canada, but the weather is holding off. No rain in the forecast. Bryce Reiner deciding to go around for another lap, but from second all the way back through ninth, deciding to come into the pits this time by. And now we get to take a look where Craig Jancic feeds back in. He is up to 5th place right now, not too far behind Dan Barrera. So now everyone out there, with the exception of Bryce Reiner, has made their first pit stop. And you see, Jancic is really not that far behind well, he's inside the top 5. He's still pretty far behind Bryce Reiner, who now decides to come into the pit. So we'll see what the timing looks like. Right now, it is only 1.5 seconds up to Dan Barrera, 8.5 to Tyler Torville, another 10, it's 10.5 up to Herbert Pineda, and then I would think around 15 seconds up to Bryce Reiner. So it's still well within a possibility as long as he can get to the end. We have 2 more pit stops, but we are past a quarter of the way through this race, and it is Bryce Reiner in the pits right now, but he, barring any kind of penalties, he'll come out there as the race leader. Herbert Pineda is running a good race here, also in second place, has not really put a foot wrong yet. Just not enough pace to get up there and keep up with Reiner, as Reiner now back out of the pits, and looks like he's going to have about a 5-second lead.
Yeah, and obviously the intervals basically stayed the same, so everybody, at least between first and second, the pit stops are about the same. So good job there by Herbert Pineda. Obviously had some great runs, and getting out there here tonight finds himself currently sitting in P number 2, and Tyler Torville not too far back. Dan Barrera's had quite a bit of good showings as well. And then obviously you got the number 88 there of Craig Jancic. He's got a lot of work to do still, but we have an hour and a half still remaining. It's like two races left for these drivers, but like you said earlier at the broadcast, only a half a tank of fuel to get out there. So it looks like they can stretch it to at least 30 minutes, and that's gonna play big here for Craig, because obviously currently being in 5th spot, he's really got to kind of extend that fuel as far as possible and try to hopefully eliminate coming in for a 3rd time. He got wrapped up in that incident and just happened to be right there at the pit entrance. Car kind of shot sideways, and he took the opportunity to get it slowed down and just take it right in. So and maybe he found himself not wanting to do that on purpose, but definitely might as well, you're already in pit lane, might as well just go for it. So we'll see how he recovers here, but right now doing a good job back there. MP number 5 with some little bit of clean air, I think, still remaining there. But right now you're looking at Christian Ortiz Torres back here, MP number 11. So definitely has some work to do to get back up to the front.
Yeah, and realistically, what Craig needs to do right now, over these next 3 stints, he's got to save about 5 minutes of fuel per stint, and that's not exactly going to be easy. I mean, he's going to save a couple laps of fuel if he's going to make it on 2 more pit stops, because he pit right around 15 minutes into the race. So that means he's going to be 15 minutes short if they're going a half-hour stint each time. So roughly about 15 minutes is what he's going to save for the rest of the race to be on the same pit strategy and I'm not sure that's what's on his mind right now. He's running the fastest laps of the race right now, 16.18 that last lap, with your leader Bryce Reiner running a 16.32. So I think Greg maybe is thinking, I'm just going to run this thing hard. I'm going to try and get up there as far as I can. If I got to come in for a splash and dash at the end, you know, kind of so be it.
Yeah, and that's probably the best angle to, you know, attack this. You know, obviously have a nice points lead coming in here, and obviously with no Christopher Hamilton out there, definitely makes the opportunity to you know, walk away the champion, you know, not much greater, but I'm sure he felt that the championship sliding out the window as he had to quickly recompose that 88 back on the track and get it going in the right direction and finally get some laps in. So, but good run so far here. Looking with riding on board with Jim Dutton here in P7, still in reach of Anthony Hutchinson.
Hutchinson is your leader in the M class, back now in 6th place. Button in 7th, and then Braxton Jarrett right there in 8th. Your other M class championship competitors, Cesar Clone Torres back there in 12th, and Len Lizan in 14th, as Lizan looks to try and make some good hard laps here, as he's got some clean air right now, as well as he tries to catch up to Trent Blaylock, who is a good 11 seconds in front of him. So a big hazard there for Glenn Lizan, having that issue early on with Cesar Clone Torres. We'll take a look back at the two crashes. If you missed it, this was early on between Greg Jancic and Anthony Hutchinson, and heading down into turn number 4 is a really tough spot to go to too wide there. Not sure if it was a 2 drifting out, the 88 coming in, a little bit of both, but they make contact, and coming up and over that corner, you see that the 2 locking up the brakes, and luckily it wasn't a snowball effect there, as you see right behind him, his teammates and Jim Dutton, Dan Herrera, all kind of right there on top of each other. That was the incident for Greg Jancic, and then we take a look at the other incident between our 2 AM class competitors, and this was coming through the final couple corners as Cesar Clone Torres looked to go to the inside of turn number 9. Just about a car width there, but kind of a late move there, catches the apron a little bit, and then catches the 69. But really, where the damage was done for the 69 is hard impact into the tire barriers here, rips off the back end. The 007 looked like he missed kind of everything. A big incident right there with Greg Jancic and broke that right rear, which is why Jancic ducked into the pits right away. Those were kind of the big talking point moments here of the race so far in the first half hour, as we are now bucking away here, going towards the back half of the first hour of this race. It is Bryce Reiner in the lead by 5.5 seconds. Herbert Pineda, Tyler Torville, Dan Morera, and Craig Jancic for that top 5. But you see Craig Jancic hunting for 4th.
Yeah, you know, obviously Craig using that momentum, that clean air, get them fast laps, and you know, hopefully make some ground here on the leaders. Probably the best way, but now after the pit stops, finds himself in the field where probably should be, maybe not a little higher. So it's definitely going to play you know, big here in the coming laps. But right now we're at 37 minutes, Carl, looking for that magical number, or maybe hopefully greater than 45. So we'll see if we can stretch it to about 50 minutes remaining. But it might be a little bit short for, well, at least he'll be able to come in and hopefully get just one more stop. Like, he still has 2 stops, so.
Yeah, minimum 2 more stops left, and I think that's going to be the telltale sign when he comes in here for this second stop. Obviously, if he's running hard out there, it's probably going to be around the 45-minute mark. If he can stretch it out further, he can get closer to that 50-minute mark. There's a chance that he can make it on just one more pit stop after that, but it's going to be close. It's going to be tight, and maybe it's going to involve some change of strategy for the second half of the race to try and save that fuel. But right now, tucking in behind Dan Morera, trying to move himself up into the top 4 is the 88 of Craig Jancic. Look a little further back in the pack as well. Actually, we'll hold on here to see if the pass is made heading down into turn number 8. Right now, Moreira not going to fight him, and unless the idiot going by, so Jansic back up into 4th. Back a little further in the field. Little battle here between the two Torreses. Cesar Colon Torres up there in 11th. Christian Ortiz Torres in 12th. And haven't seen too much of Christian out there. Obviously, we got to talk to him, I think, once this season, getting up there in that podium spots. But he's kind of one of those drivers that when he's been in the AM class, he's been up there. He's been dominant. He's won a championship, and then moves up to the pro class. And I don't know if it's the pressure, if it's new drivers come in, and what the case is. But it seems like over and over now, with the AM class driver gets the mandatory promotion up, and it's not too long after that they end up getting bumped right back down into the AM class. And maybe seeing the same thing here for Christian Ortiz Torres. We'll see if he remains in the AM class again, or should I say gets bumped down to the AM class again for next season, or if he stays up there in the pro class for season number 13. But it's been a kind of a so-so year for the 11, and I'd like to see him pick up the pace a little bit for season 13 for sure. He's got a little battle on his hands over Trent Blaylock, trying to work his way back up through the field. Blaylock started up there inside at the top 10, had a bit of a moment out of turn number 2 that he nosed it into the wall, so he's been trying to fight back ever since.
Yeah, and there's nothing like knowing that you do well here, and then the mistake. I've been there, done that type of door deal for me. You get a good track, and then you just make one simple mistake, and next thing you know, you lost 10 positions. So, and then you're just trying like crazy to get it back, and it doesn't seem like you're running the same exact times anymore. So maybe there's some damage, the tires are worn, there's all kinds of things, and you start getting in your head a little bit. And right now on a 2-hour event, getting in your head about a small mistake is not where you want to be. You gotta just kind of let that incident go, and head down, eyes forward, and start wrapping up the laps like you know you can. So, but passing here isn't easy. So definitely one of those tracks where you just gotta set things up right. The driver in front of you needs to know you're coming, and if they're battling you for position, it's just going to be a long fight. So we'll see how Malik gets by here, if he can get by. So, but good battle here back here so far. We're at 41 minutes, and Bryce Rainer's out front with Herb Pineda and Tyler Torville. Good top 3.
Well, we got a chance, and since it's a little bit longer of a race here tonight, we're going to go ahead and step aside for a moment, crank everybody up there, and we get some more boards as well, and watch these drivers drive around at MoSport with a little more CRN. Love to hear it. Sights and sounds here of the CSRL GT series, heading around the beautiful Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, as we're watching a heck of a battle here. It was a 4-car battle until Cesar Colon Torres ended up putting Christian Ortiz Torres. There we go, getting right this time. 11 ended up putting it in the wall out of turn number 2, but it's a heck of a battle here between Steve McLean, Trent Blaylock, and Cesar Colon Torres. And it seems like Colon Torres may be the faster of these 3 cars. Maybe a little team gamesmanship being played here from the other 2 Ace Motorsports cars, trying to keep Cesar Colon Torres back there and give Anthony Hutchinson a chance at this title. And so far, so good. So far, it's working out. It seems like the 007 has thrown a couple of moves at these guys. Just gets to the inside, gets completely side by side, but just can't make the pass stick. And he's going to have to sit behind him for yet another lap here. Starting to see some pit stops starting to commence here, and I'm starting to wonder, Jimmy, we're seeing these pit stops here kind of early. I mean, 51 minutes into this race right now. Not going to make it one more pit stop from here.
Her Pineda got involved in an incident there during the road to here as well, so finds himself probably with some unwanted damage and go in there and get it fixed. So fall back just a little bit, just kind of looking at the field now, and obviously we know pit stops are going to happen. We do know that Jancic came into the pits here as we were under the brake as well, so probably still looking at least one pit stop for that car as well, or at least one. Hopefully not 2 for Craig Jancic, so we'll see what he has to do. Run them fast laps. You can save fuel here, Carl. It is possible, but there is a lot of part of the tracks where you can see there's uphill. So on the uphills, you can't save very much. You have to do it, let it off into the corners, brake up your back, your braking zone. But if you're battling with somebody, more than likely you're not going to be trying to save fuel too much, just kind of like here. So these 3 drivers just lap after lap after lap, trying to either keep the Mustang behind them, or they're just that close, and they're he's trying everything he got. He's got the inside over turn number 2 there.
Oh, a little touch. Blaylock trying to save it out of turn 2. Just a little bit of a brush of the wall. Looks like the fender comes back out there as Cesar Colon Torres gets the elbows out there a little bit, makes the pass on Blaylock. But yeah, I mean, realistically, I don't think anyone pitting until like maybe now, maybe around the 55-minute mark. I don't think you can make it all the way to the end on just one more pit stop. I mean, these guys have been getting right around a half hour, maybe a little bit less on fuel here. So if you're pitting around this point, I mean, you've got to try and figure out how to make it 40 minutes on one of those stints at the end, and it's going to be a bit of a tall order. It's because of what you said. I mean, this track has been wide there somehow. It's on the track though. The uphills seem like they're slow, long uphills. Like you look from the backstretch from Moss all the way to the end of the backstretch here, it's pretty much all uphill. The downhills come quick. I mean, turn number 2, you're coming down through the corner, so it's not that easy to save a good amount of fuel coming down right here, down through turn number 2, because the downhill happens pretty quick, and then it's flat pretty much all the way until you get to turn number 4. And then again, it's downhill pretty quick, but the long uphills, I think, is what kind of kills it, because you don't got a chance to kind of let the car roll a little bit further than you'd like to, and it makes saving just a little bit tougher. It can be done, and you can probably save maybe a lap on one of your stints here. Saving 2 laps, I think it's going to be a bit of a stretch. So yeah, I mean, maybe from here on out, maybe able to get it done here on one more pit stop, but man, it's going to be tough the way these drivers are just racing hard, and there's not like there's 30, 40 cars out there that you're kind of always having a chance to draft somebody and get behind somebody. The field's pretty spread out. I mean, you see it's all pretty much on 1.5 of the map, but even those little sections there, they're pretty spread out, just a couple battles here and there.
Yeah, they're kind of all over the place there. I see Bryce Rayner back in the pack now, a lap down. Or he just pit?
He's been blinking in and out. But yeah, I don't actually out. He's still not back in there. He had some issues. I seen him blinking earlier in the race, and this may be a throughput issue here for the 24. I don't see him back in the field. Well, we're staying keyed on him to see if he pops back up at some point, but I don't see it happening. And if that is the case, that absolutely hands the championship to Craig Jancic, unfortunately.
Yeah, packet loss, dropped due to packet loss.
Oh, that is absolutely terrible. I mean, it's great news for Tyler Torville here, as he is now going to be your new leader of the race. And what a turnaround that would be for Torville if he can get this thing done. He's got a 7.5-second lead over Dan Herrera, and then it's 18.5 back to Jim Dutton, who now assumes third place in the AM class. So take a look back here and see how Jim got past Anthony Hutchinson. This is headed down the backstretch into turn number 8, and very nicely done there for the 83. Just holds him off through turns at 9 and 10, and that moved Jim Dutton up into not only the lead of the M class, but right now it's podium overall, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, Jim's been on a roll lately. Had some great finishes, and some of the platinum drivers having issues early. Definitely opens the archways for the AM drivers to start taking podium spots, and some of them aren't they're not as much of the slouch as you think they are. And don't let the AM title fool you. Some of these drivers got a lot of talent out here, and definitely showing it here as they're able to overcome the distance, and that's probably why I love endurance racing so much. It's a small equalizer that just, it can punish you for like making small mistakes over and over again. But if you can be consistent, you don't necessarily have to be the fastest. You need to survive the track. You need to be patient with the field, execute your pit stops, and find yourself in that situation. But we see here a pit stop by Cesar Torres, maybe trying to come in the pits and break off that battle here, and maybe get out there and get by using the pits as a tool to make a pass on the track here when he gets back out there. So right now back there with Anthony Hutchinson back in P number 4, followed closely by one of his teammates there, Garrett.
Yeah, Braxton Jarrett really kind of lightened up here in the second half of this second stint, and not only getting by Stephen McLean, but now making a run here. I'm sorry, actually, I was trying to play like that we were watching earlier. I forgot he had the issue there with Cesar Torres. So this is actually Braxton Jarrett. He's been up there in the top 10 this entire race, and now he finds himself in the top 5, right behind his teammate Anthony Hutchinson. This is your top 3 right here. You see Jim Dutton leading the way in the AM class. Anthony Hutchinson, Braxton Jarrett for your top 3 in the AM, but 3rd, 4th, and 5th overall, as we don't have a large pro field out here tonight. Only 7 pro drivers taking the green flag. Unfortunately, Bryce Reiner will look to be maybe a walk-away victory here tonight, as he was doing fantastic, led the entire race. Packet loss has kicked him out of the race, and I don't see that he's back in here, and I probably don't blame him at this point. You kind of just, you don't even want to get back in. It's just going to rub more salt in the wounds just by coming in here and you're back there in 16th and kind of feel like you have nothing to race for after you just dominated the first 50 minutes of this race.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the internet connections is part of the online challenges that iRacers have, and when you lose in connections and you falter a race, even though being on a big race like this, obviously the championship, kind of essence the championship race, it's the finale, and you had a chance to maybe possibly score yourself a great finish here, and obviously your competitor had some challenges and found themselves off track. Everything's looking good, and then they kind of get kicked in the no-no spot, and find yourself just kind of down and out. Kind of will put a dampener. I wanted to be surprised if Bryce, if he can come back, comes back. There's still an hour out here to race. You never know what's going to happen. The odds of winning obviously have gone to the wayside, but definitely to get back out here, just get some lap times in, and just kind of have fun with the rest of the evening. But definitely right now, the person having fun is going to be Dan Barrera, with Jim Dutton second, and Anthony Hutchinson in third.
Pit stops are well and underway now as Tyler Torville coming into the pits last time by Braxton Jarrett. Steve McLean now in the pits this time. So we'll see when Barrera and Dutton and Anthony Hutchinson decide to come in. Craig Jansick up to 5th place as it stands right now, but he's going to most likely have to make 2 pit stops yet in this race when everyone else is going to only have to make 1. Barrera now brings the 404 into pit lane, and not going to start the lead to Jim Dutton as he's going to come into the pits as well, and so will Anthony Hutchinson. So it's going to get handed back to Tyler Torville here, who's got about 5.25 seconds back to Craig Jansick, still plugging in some very fast laps, trying to make something happen here, and as it stands, could shake out to be running 2nd place once we complete this pit cycle. So we'll keep an eye now as Tyler Torville crosses the line, gets back into the lead. You see right there, Craig Jansick is going to slide all the way up into 2nd. But again, unless he can somehow miraculously save enough fuel in these last 2 stints, he's going to be looking at 2 more pit stops. Everyone else is on a 1-stop strategy from here on out. So, I mean, realistically, top 5 could still be in the cards for Jansick with the speed that he's running. Top 10 certainly is there. A podium or a win here tonight, I think, is going to be a bit of a stretch, but we still got an hour to play here.
Hey, we're only half done, and we've already seen, obviously we've seen Craig go out, we've seen some other people hit the wall, we've seen people dump in the grass, and we're only halfway. Also, obviously it's a lot longer race, and if some of these drivers don't partake in some of those endurance races that they have here on iRacing, they're going to find themselves, tired. Maybe they're by themselves, so they just get, just kind of lose focus a little bit, just driving around by yourself. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on. It is really intense out there, and maybe they're just hot. Maybe they forgot to turn on their fan, because that's the worst. Nothing like being in an endurance race and you take fuel and you can't reach your fan, or you forgot to turn it on, and you're just sitting there just sweating, and it just stinks.
Or you got that mid stint where you hear and see in the peripheral your fan tipping over and falling over off the chair alongside of you. It is just the worst. I mean, it's not fun. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice, but also not so much. That the track here at MoSport, not really the most difficult track. I mean, really, you're looking at the section of the track right now that I would consider probably the most difficult, and that's Moss with the double right hander there. It's just really difficult getting in there with a lot of speed, not shooting off the track in the entry there. But other than that, I mean, it's just not really too much to it that is really going to essentially keep you mentally awake, and so that's where it comes into, in my eyes, kind of being a bad thing. There's a chance that you can just kind of have a mental slip, and an issue where you brake a little bit too late, or you turn it a little bit early, catch the curb, and all of a sudden it gets your car really upset. So you really got to press on. I mean, I know for the drivers that are out there that are used to doing double or triple stints in endurance races, 2 hours doesn't seem like that much, but not too much to kind of worry about here. Could actually be a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, it can be, like you said, it can be not a bad thing. Like I said, there's some key points on this track that take a lot of focus, and if you forget, you can find yourself in a sticky predicament. Obviously, one of the huge ones is the up and over. You can see the 10 was working hard. He's able to get the inside, but he needs to get the inside right here. And because being stuck on that outside, going down over this hill is not the place you want to be. It would take a lot of talent, a lot of speed, and being able to hold the car on the little edge of what is even possible of doing. So Torres continuing to battle Torres now, right?
Cesar Clone Torres battling Steve McLean there in front of him.
There you go.
But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that the short pit didn't work out for Cesar Clone Torres, but it looks like just slightly longer in the pit lane. A 22.15 for Steve McLean, 22.52 for Cesar Clone Torres, and maybe Clone Torres not having a good enough outlap, or maybe it was Steve McLean having a really good inlap. But either way, the short pit not working out for Torres to try and move himself ahead of Steve McLean. And he's up to the top 10 right now and looking pretty good again. He came in with a decent sized points lead, but he would love to get up there and get closer to the likes of Anthony Hutchinson. I mean, right now he is a good 21 seconds behind Hutchinson, so battling him and beating him at some point this race may not be in the cards. Maybe, never know. But right now, he is just having some major issues battling with Hutchinson's teammates, and going to look to go around the outside here of turn number 3. Definitely the longer way around there, not going to work out, but he's doing everything he can. He can't fault him for that. He is trying his best to get around the 85, but McLean not really putting a wheel wrong right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, you know, when somebody's driving pretty much the optimal line. You have to get it, you know, you have to get down. He had the nose right there, but just not enough to bring the exit speed out to follow him down here. It's going to be a close one. He's going to have to send it in one of these corners, obviously getting right up in that back bumper. Kind of push him along, kind of seeing where he's going to go. Show the move. He's got the inside move. Can he make it finally work?
Send it in there. But McLean going to fight back here in turn number 9. They're going to go side by side. But finally, after what seemed to be a 2-hour race by itself, Cesar Clone Torres gets the pass done. Now, can he stay ahead of McLean? Because you know McLean's going to be wanting to punch right back here. But I feel like that 007 has got some speed, and you see already starting to gap that 85. He's got Herbert Pineda, the next one, up in line, 5.6 seconds ahead. Going to be tough to catch and pass him, as Pineda for the longest time was running in second before he had the issue under the Love to Hear It with Paul Bailey, just getting into him coming out of the final corner, both of them spinning, and unfortunately Herbert Pineda ended up putting it into the wall there a little bit afterwards, but back out here in 8th place right now. Could be another one that's looking at 2 more stops here to the end, so we'll see if maybe that's how Cesar Clone Torres makes the pass that way. But either way, heck of a job and heck of an endurance race just for that pass.
Yeah, and like we said, you know, it's obviously this is a tough track to find that optimal spot to make the pass, and obviously finally was able to either outsmart or just outmaneuver the car and finally get around one of his competitors and put him in a position where he needs to continue to move forward. But up front right now with Jim Dutton and Anthony Hutchinson battling out here. Jim obviously leading that battle here in P4 overall. But out front it is Tyler Travell. Craig Jensen still sitting in P number 2, closing that 4-second gap down to 2. So trying to grab the lead here, I'm sure, before he goes back into the pits.
Good battle here between Dutton and Hutchinson heading down at the backstretch. Dutton is in 4th, but in the lead here of the M class, who doesn't want to give this up. Would love to finish the season on a high note, but Hutchinson looking to make amends for those races that he missed, trying to come back here and get himself a win and maybe have an outside shot of that title as well. Battling through the final corners here and back to the line. We're going to have about 50 minutes left in this race. There's still plenty of time for these drivers to get it done here. Still at least 1 pit stop for everyone. A few drivers out there are going to need 2 more pit stops to get this thing done. I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in tonight to CRN and the Casual Sim Racers League for their season finale here at MoSport. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and get you in with everything that CRN has to offer. As we've got again kind of the championship time of the year. We got the championship race here for CSRL. Next week will be the championship races for the Core Xfinity Series and the Core GT Series. We also had a few series starting up. We got on Sundays now the 191 Motorsports, and on Mondays, starting this Monday, is going to be the Race Academy as well. So plenty of racing action here on CRN. Just hit that like, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and hit that bell if you want to get notified of when CRN is live.
Yeah, it's obviously we're pretty busy here at CRN and try to do the best coverage we can for everybody. And if you're out there and you got somebody that you're looking to maybe see where they're at, so your favorite driver, your fiance, your dad, your brother, whatever it may be, sister, yeah, let us know in the chat, and we'll try to get some camera time for them so you can see how they're doing here tonight. As we're just past the halfway mark, with Tyler Torville obviously in the lead over Craig Jancic, that has a monstrous short pit that he has to deal with. If he can try to conquer that, Craig could and might have the opportunity to at least get a top 5 here tonight, but it's definitely going to be a tight one. With a lot of good drivers out here, so it's hard to make a mistake, even if you are super fast, and not and come back in order to get the win. It would be probably one heck of a, if you can make it happen, one heck of a victory for Craig. Obviously not the happiest of campers from the rip, and getting in that car, putting the head down, and really driving the wheels off right now, down to like a 1 second interval here. As we're coming up on that 1 hour 15-minute mark, and I think that's right about the time frame where Craig's probably gonna have to come in. So we will find out if he can extend that fuel farther or not.
I mean, he's still in the 115s right now, 115.96 that last time by. He's not holding anything back, and if he's able to turn those kind of times and save fuel, I mean, he's that's beyond a Herculean effort. I mean, that's pretty amazing. But running down Tyler Tova right now, who is doing a fantastic job, doing everything he needs to do right now. And realistically, again, this is a situation where if you're you're on the team radio, you're there with Craig Jancic. I mean, with Tyler Tova, you can say that, tell him that Craig Jancic is not your battle. There's no sense trying to get in any kind of a scrap with the 88 here. If he's got to run, just let him go on by. Your race right now is essentially with Dan Herrera in the 404, who is a good 8.5 seconds behind right now. So Torville doing a great job out here, a master class right now, and just got a regular CSRL race to go. Getting close to 45 minutes left in this thing.
It just started. There's nothing like a 2-hour race to finish things up. I know a lot of drivers, drive the long. It's a lot of times, to do it every week could probably be maybe a little much, but definitely a lot of fun. But especially during the middle of the week, everybody's obviously working or whatever. But these drivers really like to. Obviously, they enjoy their hobby here, and getting to be able to do this once in a while, kind of run this thing out. Get the pit stops, get the tire changes, get the long runs, and it's a lot of fun. It makes it challenging, and builds camaraderie, or just builds your endurance up to put yourself in a situation that maybe you want to do a 24-hour event. You're like, oh, I can do a 2-hour stint. I've done that at Canadian Tire. So Craig Jancic will be coming in this time by. So yeah, it's going to be a long one, and he'll have to make yet another pit stop after here.
So it's been an hour and close to 15 minutes at this point. And Jimmy, our pole sitter has not run a single lap. I mean, it's not often that we see that or can say that about any of the pole sitters, but especially for Craig Jancic, he does exactly what we expected him to do. Get the pole here tonight. Has not led a single lap. It's been an hour and 15 minutes coming up on it, and we have not seen the 88 out front because of the early issues. Sliding back right away from first back to about 5th or 6th because of just going a little bit too wide down through the turn 2 complex, and that kind of put him back in the pack a little bit. And then battling with Anthony Hutchinson, gets into a little bit of a scrap, gets sideways and goes pretty much all the way to the back of the field. Has been fighting back ever since, and during that fight back ends up getting caught in the scrap of Glenn Lazan and Cesar Colon Torres, and gets enough of it to damage that right rear came right into the pits, but since then it's put him on a different pit strategy here tonight. That's why you see the 88 kind of really off cycle here, but that's much to the liking here of Tyler Torville out there in the lead. Dan Herrera doing a good job back there in second place. Right now it is Jim Dutton in third, and not sure what exactly happened to Anthony Hutchinson here. We'll try to take a look and see. You can see where he slid back and off in the grass there a little bit. That was certainly nothing that put him back as far as he is right now. So not sure where Braxton got by Anthony Hutchinson. We'll try and take a look and see if there's, oh, right there is a big old slide sideways from Hutchinson, and we'll take a look at that one more time, as SDK did not catch that at all, and that was a very good catch from Hutchinson, as he's sliding sideways there, almost comes across the track and gets cleaned out by his teammate Braxton Jarrett, but keeps it going straight there. We'll take you back live now, and you see right there Jarrett not only passes Hutchinson, but he gets up there and makes the pass here on your AM class leader and takes over the lead of the AM class. We'll take a look at that pass right now as he got around Jim Dutton heading down into turn number 1.
Yeah, good move there, and I'm sure Jim was like, well, I'm not going to fight this. He obviously caught me, and gonna let him go. And anyways, march forward towards the end of the race. Jim's still sitting in second in the AM class, 4th overall currently, and you know, anything can happen. And obviously with the pit stop still kind of in the loom here for everybody, and basically nobody's in the clear until probably right after that 35-minute remaining mark. So and I would say somebody could probably make it till then with a little bit of fuel saving. So could be an interesting one here. Tyler Torville obviously was out there in front. We'll be coming down the pits here in about 10 minutes or so, and I think when everything's all said and done, Craig Jancic will lead at least one lap, if not a handful of laps, before the end. It'll just be towards the end of the race. You see Torres going off track there just a little bit as he's under a little bit of pressure as he got the 9 behind him. So definitely looking. Yeah, that's ninth place. McLaren, Cesar, the 85.
Oh, and Cesar Claude Torres goes wide, and all of that work that he did to get around Stephen McLean is going away as he loses the spot to McLean, to Ian Wilson as well, and then he's got the 24 there of Reiner back out in the field, mixed up there with him as well. So maybe you can use the 24 there's pace to get around some of these guys, but man, it looked like he was just pushing hard to try and get away from McLean, and boy, it did not pay off at all. And now behind Reiner, thought about 3 wide there for a second, and this is getting close and tight here as Torres again wants to try and get up there. He's back now in 10th place here once again. He was all the way up to 8th, and I mean, just self-damage there on that one.
Yeah, it's you get that grass, you misjudge a corner. Obviously, they're out there a lot. He's doing a lot of right, to the left, to the right, to the left. He got this inside coming down around the corner. He's able to make it give room there to Wilson.
And now coming under pressure from I believe it was 21 there, William Burrell, who was another lap car, just trying to kind of stay out of this battle here, but Lone Torres just cannot catch a break. And what a move there in Moss. That is, we've seen it done maybe once or twice, but that is a very, very, well, no other way to put it, that's a ballsy move right there from the 007. That is one way to make the pass, and you want to talk about catching somebody off guard and making a pass. That is how it's done right there.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to make a pass. Obviously doable, as you can see. Just gotta, he showed one way and fed the other. Was able to have that car just slowed down enough, and maybe Ivan just drifting out a little bit farther, so took a deeper advantage of it. Get that that on-off braking there done and get that car slowed down so you can make the turn and not go off track. Because we've seen that plenty, but you can see how hard he's racing as he's using every single bit of the track, putting the tires out in the grass multiple times, and just kind of trying to run his way back up after losing that time for getting in the grass. But you can see how far back he's dropped, but back now all the way back in ninth, but he'll have to chase down McLaren that is now 2 seconds out front of him.
I'll tell you one thing I can say though, Jimmy, is that Mustang doesn't care if it's in the grass. I mean, how many times have we seen Clone Torres, let alone a few others in the Mustang, get 2 tires in the grass, and I know it's got a little bit more grip now, the grass via iRacing, but normally any car, you touch that grass a little bit with 2 tires and either the back end's flying around or you're going to keep shooting out further into the grass. But I mean, the 007 has used every bit an inch of this track and then some, and somehow is keeping that thing straight, other than the incident that he got into with Lazan. So I mean, credit to the Mustang, as you see him going a bit wide there out of the final corner as well. Luckily these guys I don't think have a incident limit on here tonight, or the 007 might have been over by now, maybe 2 or 3 times.
Looking at, let's see, he's got a few. We'll just put it that way. He's definitely running up there in the double digits now. I won't say numbers because there is a limit, but there's a few obviously out there that have had the troubles with. Overall, looking at the off-track numbers, if they're correct, not that high, all considering. This can be a difficult track, catching them onesie twosies here and there, but definitely doing pretty well here as overall for the league. So definitely an interesting race here so far. An hour and 20 minutes in, with 38 minutes remaining, and Tyler Terrell's still able to hold on there and keep things going. Her Pineda's going to bring out Porsche down into the pits. It was unfortunate for him getting involved earlier and getting into the wall there and getting some damage, but not too bad. Bringing it in there, currently in P7, obviously, with Craig Jancic still working his way up to the field, up in 6th place. So looks like he's fighting for hopefully a overall top 5 as he closes down Anthony Hutchinson with obviously 30-some plus minutes to go. So everybody will be in the pits at least one more time. Pineda and Wilson that were already in, and Tyler Torville's in as well, but Torville's obviously many laps down. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be close. It's going to be close with Wilson and Pineda. Wilson's still in the pits. It's just coming out now, but yeah, Pineda and Wilson, I mean, right here, it's going to be a long run to make it here to the end. When you're looking at saving 10 minutes, I don't think that's possible. You're going to be having to save maybe 6-7 laps. Maybe a lap and a half. Yeah, I mean, that's not going to happen. So everyone still from here will be making one more pit stop. And oh, by the way, we're going to battle again between Cesar Colon Torres and Stephen McLean, as they are battling right behind your former leader, Bryce Reiner, as he's now back out there on the track. And here we go, another battle down into turn number 1. Can Colon Torres make it stick? He cannot this time. So he's going to have to back out and try and mount another charge here down into turn number 2. Going to stay in line. So, I mean, he's just... These two right here have seen, I think, enough of each other, and looks like Paul Bailey off to the side. Bryce Reiner went off the track there as well. Allows these guys to get on by. So now we'll see if the 2 Mustangs can work together to get around the McLaren. I think that was Bryce just kind of getting out of the way there to happen cleanly, and Bailey doing the same thing already. Being involved in the earlier incident. Probably, didn't want that to happen as well. So just going to get out of the way, let these drivers battle it out. We still have a good amount of time left, still over about 30, not quite 36 minutes. And there's a lot of decisions to be made in the upcoming very few short laps. These 2 drivers will be looking to come in soon. Can one stay out longer, one coming in, one, we're going to see what's happening. Bryce is going to come in with the pits here. Looks like he's going in. Bailey's in.
Reiner into the pits.
Yeah.
Almost a battle down into turn 1 again, but Torres stays out of it this time.
Yeah, he has to like set him up. He needs the inside going over the hill to make a better pass, or like right here. So get your run down through the turn, and then maybe get a real close run there. But you can see right there that the McLaren's pretty good through the middle of the corners, and he has no problem turning. So obviously down through here. So this area is going to be one of those areas. They've seen the move earlier. So will they see it again? Can he make it work? Or is his tires just kind of beat, and he's just trying to hold on to it as I think they're getting ready to come in the pits here, Carl. Just a matter of another lap, maybe 2.
Yeah, we're getting close to that 1 hour and 38-minute mark, 2/3 or 3/4 of the way through this race. Best battle on the track right now between McLean in 7th and Lone Torres here in 8th. Another battle that we can take a look at up here is the battle for the lead in the M class. 3rd and 4th overall, Braxton Jarrett in the lead right now, the M class. Jim Dutton not too far behind, as he is 7/10 of a second behind, heading into Moss. A little further back in the field, we got a pretty good battle between Christian Ortiz-Torres here right behind Ian Wilson. Right behind them is Brandon Potts. I haven't really talked about Potts too often here tonight. Started back in the field, 18th, second last on the field, and then the last one in the field for cars that started this race. And he's slowly worked his way up here. He's up to 12th right now, and actually now making it past Ian Wilson, himself up into 11th. So be a late charge up through the field here for Brandon Potts. I don't think it's going to be a championship charge here. A little bit too much ground to make up here tonight, but either way, if he can come home with a top 10 here tonight, I'm sure he would not be disappointed in that. He's got Christian Ortiz-Torres right now in 10th in front of him. I'm going to send a shout out to our series sponsors here for the season, that being 40 Racewear and RMBC, and thanks to everything that they do for the series here at CSRL. We've got a good one here. It's been a very entertaining hour and a half so far here for the CSRL season finale up here at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. We've seen some championship contenders get together with each other. We've seen some other ones get taken out in the process, and it gave us a chance and a glimpse at maybe a huge monumental comeback from Bryce Reiner to get up there and get the Pro Class Championship away from Craig Jansen. But the tables have turned in the form of Wi-Fi connection, and the loss of Wi-Fi connection to be exact, shutting off in the entire house for Bryce Reiner, and it took his 6-second lead at the front and threw it away, and he is now 2 laps down. Actually, sorry, 7 laps down in 16th position and out of the chances here. But the AM class has been kind of up and down. It's been Anthony Hutchinson being towards the top of the field pretty much all day. He was leading the AM class for a while, but now he is 3rd in the AM class, but still 5th place overall. Cesar Colon Torres, Brandon Potts have been trying to make their way up through the field. Colon Torres and Glenn Lazan getting together earlier on in the race, and we'll take a look back for those just tuning in and show you kind of the again, the key moments in this race. And this was early on lap number 3. We see an incident between Anthony Hutchinson there on the right side of your screen, Craig Jansick trying to work his way back up through the field, making contact. There might have been a bit of net code there as well. Looked like about a foot in between those two cars, but it sends Jansick around sideways and eventually backwards, having to work his way all the way back up through this field. And then really what the killer was for the 88 is the second incident that happened. This between Glenn Lazan in that silver Mustang, a mirror finish, and then to the inside here on turn number 9, Cesar Colon Torres makes a dive. They make contact, and big impact for the 69, takes off the back bumper, and right there, the back end of Glenn Lazan catching Craig Jansen and set up directly into the pits. Those were kind of the key highlights here tonight, which is really shaking up the order for quite some time. But now, as it stands, everyone having to make a pit. We're starting to see some of those last pit stops now. Braxton Jarrett, Stephen McLean in the pits as well, making those final pit stops.
The pit stops, this should be the end, and they should be able to make it the rest of the way. Obviously, don't have to worry about any green-white checker finishes here and some road racing. So it's going to be make for a good finish, and can they hold on? Fail after 2 hours of racing here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. But definitely looking forward to talking to the winners, and maybe even if they have the standings for the overall champion, being able to talk to them as well. But right now it is Dan Barrera finds himself out front, but Jim Dutton in second, Anthony Hudson in third. Then Craig Jansick sitting there in fourth. So in the hot seat to take the lead here once most of these drivers pit here, Carl. So Craig will get his lap led. Just you didn't think it'd be an hour and a half or hour and 45 minutes in.
No, after starting on the pole, I mean, maybe if he started from the rear, started from the pits to make it interesting, maybe it might have taken that long, but most likely not. He's certainly paid his dues here tonight, and getting all the licks he can
he's
handle.
Even thinking about coming in early. I mean, he's currently sitting in fourth. Those drivers in front of him have to come in too.
Yep.
I don't know if he can make it. Well, I don't think he's going to be able to make up 28 seconds to the leader, but he might be able to close down in P3 and actually make it by. So I don't know. I guess it would be depending on what kind of traffic was looking like and whether I decide to come in, because he's closing in there. It looks like on the 69 of the Zon. So maybe another lap or two. Then you got the 2 of Anthony Hutchinson, not that far in front of him. So yeah, it's a close one. So it's definitely a call. Dan Marrero is in the pits right now.
Yeah, I mean,
so
realistically, Jim Dutton in the pits here as well. I mean, realistically, as Hutchinson now comes in too, Craig Jansen could come in here. Doesn't need to take tires. He doesn't need to take tires. He can just take fuel only, and he's only going to need basically a half a tank. Where these other guys are going to need to fill up their tank. He's still got a half a tank left in there, so it's going to be a quicker stop. Top 5 again, definitely on the boards. Maybe an outside shot at a top 3, but it's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. He's now finally taking the lead an hour and 32 minutes into this thing. And we finally see the pole sitter Craig Jansen get a lap led. It's funny to say, so I'm just going to keep bringing it up. But either way, Tyler Torville looks to be in good shape for this one. He is only 2 seconds behind Craig Jansen right now, but ultimately he's good to go to the end, as is Dan Marrero in second. But Marrero is a good 8 1/4 seconds behind the 22 here of Tyler Torville. So great run here in the season finale for the 22. Just needs to cap it off here at the end. Braxton Jarrett in 4th place overall, doing a fantastic job working his way through the field. He's now got that 1 at the top spot in the M class. Jim Dutton right behind him as well. Would love to get up there and finish this season on a high note with the win here. But either way, even if he doesn't finish in the top 3, we'll sure get to talk to Jim Dutton after this thing and wrap up the season. Anthony Hutchinson running in 3rd, but starting to slip back here a little bit, and maybe realizing that tonight was just not meant to be. He needed to have a really, really good race, which was looking good in the beginning, and he needed the likes of Cesar Torres, Glenn Lazan to have some issues, and they did. But since then, it's kind of gone the opposite way. It's been seen Hutchinson starting to slide back through the field here a little bit, now in 6th place. Cesar Torres all the way up to 8th position. Even Glenn Lazan up to 11th as well. So not working out too well here for the 2, and certainly working in the way of the 007. But still got about a half hour left in this thing, and if it's anything like the first half hour, there's a lot to happen yet.
Yeah, we're like, oh, we're almost done. No, we're not done. We literally just started their normal race here. Obviously, into it about 10 minutes, and they got plenty of time out there on the track, as now they're now they're worn. Now they're starting to get tired. Now they're starting to make little mistakes that maybe they don't typically make. You know, maybe second guessing their fuel, maybe decide whether they want tires or not. But looks like we got to move here for the 8th spot. There is 007 taking inside. Yeah, this is the replay. Yeah, so definitely a tough move, and it looks like he's going to use a crossover, or is he actually going to take the outside?
Yeah, McLaren got the pass back, and then it was just back and forth for quite some time until they headed down to Moss as Cesar Torres finally had the pass made. But then on, you see off there to the right, that is Cesar Torres on the very next lap, given that position back. Again, self-inflicted wound here for the 007 when he finally gets past Steve McLean. I mean,
how many times I've done
you
that?
want to talk about Superman and Kryptonite, right? I think the Kryptonite is certainly Steve McLean here for Cesar Torres tonight. He just cannot get it done and keep it done.
Yeah, I don't know how many times, you know, you come up on somebody, you get around them, I don't know if you get excited, you forget what's going on, and you miss your mark. Next thing you know, you're off in the grass, and that same person they just passed, and maybe they even let you pass, and then they go right by you, and then you have to battle back to you know, get back to where you were at again, and maybe get around. But
and they question if they should let you by the second time, because you're going to do that kind of crap again, I'm not going to let you by.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, I'm going to post both of them. We'll just keep them behind me. So, but right now he's got a lot of work to do. Got plenty of time to do it if he wants to try to move up into the 8th position around McLean. But Jancic currently out front, enjoying his probably thought the race that maybe he'd be able to run away, but was unable to. And then Rainer was supposed to take his spot, and Internet Connections have played the team tonight, so finds himself in the back as well. So tough break for Jancic and Rainer, but definitely good racing all season from them too. I'm sure Jancic here looking like he's going to be able to close in that championship here for the pro class, if I'm not mistaken. But Tyler Torville looking to take the win here at Canadian Tire. It's definitely in his favor.
Yeah, so far so good for Torville, as now Jancic making his final pit stop, so we'll see where he comes out and kind of what battles he can still get into before this thing is over. But it's certainly not been the race that Jancic probably envisioned coming in here, trying to win the championship. Pretty much had it locked up, really needed to kind of finish at the back of the field and have Reiner win for any kind of chance of it stretching out. But as it stands, this is definitely the race that Tyler Torville wants to end the season with, as he is out there in the lead by 6.5 seconds over Dan Barrera. Braxton Jarrett is going to be in front of Craig Jancic, as will Jim Dutton, but you see how close it is. Craig Jancic still has a chance at the overall podium here. He's got 2 AM class drivers in front of him battling, but how much does he want to get involved in this battle before this thing is over? Because it is heating up here for the AM class win.
You're definitely heating up here for the class win. Oh, and somebody's off the track, but out of the way right there as the AM drivers go. So definitely winding down to be another tight one here, no matter what. Seems like these AM drivers are really finding each other.
Yeah, it's been good battling, and it's been really where most of the battling has been all night, especially with the 85 and the 007. But right now, riding on board here with Craig Jancic, looking up at the 2 drivers battling for the AM class win here at MoSport season finale. Triple points on the line. It's been a good one so far, and hopefully it finishes out just as well. We got another 20 minutes plus a lap here to finish this thing out. Tyler Torville, Dan Barrera for your top 2 in the pro class. You're riding on board with 3rd place in the pro class, but back here in 5th, that is Craig Jancic. Braxton Jarrett and Jim Dutton right in front of him, running in 3rd and 4th. Behind Jancic is the 2 of Hutchinson. Then you got Pineda, McLean, Torres, and Ortiz Torres for the top 10. But yeah, you see right on board there, you see Jim Dutton going a little bit wide off into the grass. Going to lose that position. It's going to move Jancic up there. Big old bobble and a good save there from the 88s heading into Moss. As now he's got...
It's going to be difficult.
And like I said, if there's ever a place here that is a troublesome spot and a spot where you want to camp out and watch, Moss is definitely the place. I wouldn't mind just hopping a chair on the inside of Moss there and watch these cars go flying in there and try and make that double right-handers. There was definitely some lefts and some rights there from the 88 heading in there that time by, but it moves him up into fourth. One more spot to get him up into that podium.
Yeah, and I'm sure he was looking forward to getting in. You're going to see him push that 88 even tougher. You know, obviously, Jared is, you know, not it's not the battle's not with Jared, but obviously to get the P3, he needs to get around him. So, you know, it'll definitely benefit there. And I think he's obviously just a little bit out of touch to be able to catch Tyler and Dan Marrera, but. So it looks like Craig will finish in third here over at least in the Pro Series overall. Overall, he might finish third as well. Just got to get up by Gary. He's got plenty of time to do it. Got the 19 minutes and closing in ever so slowly. You know, a couple tenths here, a couple tenths there. So we'll see what Garrett does. Obviously, he now has time as Jim Dutton has fallen back a few seconds after making that small mistake. It just looked like he was just, I don't know, he was trying to catch or something and had to do a quick left, right, and the car decided to yeah, the rear end stepped out and it caught, and then next thing you know, it was in the grass, but he did slap the wall.
Yeah, I did not see that wall slap there.
Ooh.
Not sure if how bad that messed up the front left. Definitely some bodywork damage.
Yeah, tire's definitely exposed, so who knows what his steering's like in that car right now.
Take back live, and he's still trying to hang on to this battle. Only about
Maybe check the
4 seconds back. We'll hop on board with him to see if that car is still pointing the right direction when it comes through the wheel. See when he comes out of turn number 3 here. And now you see.
No, too bad.
I thought maybe for a second that I was just going to drift over to the right, so looks like that car is still, for the most part, pointing in the right direction for the steering wheel wise. So lucky break there.
Feels like poop
with 83.
It's a scary, scary thing. You know, you have hits like that, like say Nürburgring, and the next thing you know, you got a meatball flip. So it's definitely stinks, and it's like I just brushed the wall, I'm good. But no, it could be enough damage. But it looks like he didn't sustain enough to cause the meatball flag to fly. So we're gonna stay out there with Jim currently sitting in 5th overall, 2nd in the AM class. Tyler Torvilles in 1st with Dan Marrera, followed by Braxton Jarrett there in 3rd for the AM drivers, but 3rd overall, 1st for the AM. So a lot of good racing going on here tonight. It's been a long one at the Canadian Tire. Definitely, hasn't failed, Carl, at good racing here tonight.
One thing that hasn't happened in a while, Jimmy, probably in the last maybe 10 minutes or so, we haven't seen a battle between Cesar Torres and Steve McLean. We're about to again, as once again, the 007 has reeled in the 85. And this is a 15-round bout right here. This is a championship bout potentially here for Cesar Torres, trying to hold on to the championship lead. Anthony Hutchinson only 3 positions in front of him, but he'd like to make it 2. But how many times has he landed a couple jabs, made the pass on Steve McLean, just to throw it all away with a mistake going off the track, trying to get away from him? Well, here comes at least it's got to be round number 14, maybe, between these two guys, and the time is starting to tick away. And then this may go down to the judges' cards, and then we'll maybe have to send it out there to the CRN viewing audience and see what you guys have on the cards for who won this battle, regardless of where they finish on the track.
Right. It's obviously whether the 007s had the faster car here tonight or not. Definitely. Maybe a little more inconsistent as in trying to use the whole track and catching some grass and sending them wide. And just a couple more mistakes. I think even without them mistakes here tonight, the 007 could have found himself maybe in a top 5 position here at the moment, but too many mistakes here tonight. So, but still keeping them within, in the battle. So speed in here in the cars is definitely good. Just them small mistakes have cost him pretty dearly here, and we'll see if he can make it past McLean, but he should be able to. Carl, he's done it a few times already. The thing is, if he can get around, he can keep it.
Well, I think what he needs to do is he needs to wait. He needs to wait until the white flag comes out, make the pass in the final corner so he doesn't have that much time to throw it away again for the 8th time here tonight. But yeah, definitely as Jim is out there, wish you were out here racing with us too as well. But Dan Moreno definitely holding down the 40 Racewear flag and doing a great job of it. Running in 2nd place, 8 seconds behind your leader Tyler Torville, but he's got a 12.5-second lead over now Craig Jancic, who has made the pass and moved himself into the podium spots here tonight. But this will be a heck of a good finish here for Herrera, grabbing a 2nd place. This has been it's a good one. It's a fun one, and we're not done seeing the battling just yet, as it's coming down to the end. Less than 15 minutes left in this race. Torville, Herrera, Jancic, Jarrett, and Dutton for your top 5. Hutchinson, Pineda, these two right here, McLean and Torres for 8th and 9th, and then Christian Ortiz, Torres rounding out your top 10. Blaylock, Lazan, Potts, Burrell, Reiner, Wilson, Bailey, and Todd Torville are the other drivers here, the 18 drivers competing here tonight for the championship finale here for CSRL season number 12. It's been a fun season. Seen a few different winners. We've seen some new faces come in here and certainly have some speed. I'm sure we'll see some of them get bumped up to the Pro Clash next year, make it even a little bit more beefy, and maybe some more threats for Greg Jancic and possibly the likes of Christopher Hamilton, and hopefully Bryce Reiner with a new Wi-Fi router for next season to give a go at these guys. But it's been a fun season, and definitely want to send a thank you out to Jim Dutton, to all the admins here running the Lima. Frank Jancic, obviously, Rich Petrucco, all the guys that make it happen here in CSRL, and thank you for bringing us on board here for another season. Jimmy, we are getting down to the last 10 minutes or so of the season. While we got some time, kind of what are your takes on this season so far as we watch this battle play out?
I think the season overall was a success, and obviously you have your front runners, a few drivers, and a few times the other pro drivers able to take advantage of maybe some mistakes and grabbing some wins and top 5s, taking them away from some of those top drivers. We've seen some great battling between the leaders in each division. I think overall it's just a great group of guys. They're all level-headed. They're very highly competitive. For the most part, they keep it very clean. There's been some minor mistakes, but that just happens everywhere. Whether somebody gets excited or, you talk about you can't win it on lap 1, but you see that opportunity, so you try to take it, and then it's like a big game of chicken in the turn 1, who's going to let up and who's not. And sometimes maybe you're the guy that always lets up. You're just standing your ground this time, and then a big one happens. There's all kinds of things that happen throughout the season, but overall, just to be able to come out here on Wednesday nights and race with a great group of guys, and just get some time on track. As far as the weather, I see somebody complaining about the weather. You got to talk to your local admins about setting up the races. As far as the fog goes, but overall, Carl, I would watch this race even if I wasn't broadcasting. It's fun to watch these guys, especially after getting to know them, and see them each and every week, and their fans come out and root them on, or if they're the drivers that can't make it, they're able to come out here and see what they've missed, or at least get a chance to go back and see what's going on over here at CRN. And you don't have to sit in the machine every single week if you don't have to. But yeah, it's been a great time. I hope they things continue here with CSRL, there's news in the street that we're probably going to do, but you know, you never know what happens. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed, and we'll wait for the affirmation, or if you want to call it, to firm things up for next season, and when that next season is going to start. And we'll be here if invited, and with the bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's I mean, any league that's been around for 12 seasons, they're doing something right, and they had plenty of numbers all season. This is by far their lowest attendance for the season, and I do mean by far. I mean, they're consistently around the 25, close to 30 mark. I think they got close to 40 at one point this season. I mean, they got plenty of drivers in here. Regular drivers, they got some new ones. It seems like always kind of coming in. There's always a good rotation of drivers coming in here. It helps that the league is free to get in, and it gives drivers of any experience a possibility of getting out here and running a race. Obviously, they got the two divisions here, the Pro class and the AM class. Helps separate the skill a little bit, at least in the standings. But all in all, I mean, it's a good group of drivers out here. A good group of guys that are willing to answer any questions that these competitors have as well. They may keep some things close to the vest, but ultimately, if you got a question, you're trying to figure out what to do here, how to get through a track, or whatever the situation may be, they're willing to help for sure, 100%. But we're down now under that final 10 minutes. We got about 8 minutes plus a lap here at the beautiful MoSport. I promise it's beautiful. I know it's a little foggy out there. We apologize for that, Jim. But it is a very fantastic track out here. In the,
you're talking Jim out there. I mean, some of these drivers, maybe anyone that has trouble with that, they just need to visit Jim's website for 40 Racewear and get them racing shoes. And be able to keep their foot in the gas, or maybe not slip off the brake while going through the corners.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll get a little bit better grip in the grass. Like we've seen that some of these drivers have some issues here tonight.
You got a Flintstone car, I mean, whatever. Let her rip there, Jim.
Well, this is the battle that is happening on the track right now, and pretty much the only battle that's happening on the track. The rest of the field has spread out. You got Tyler Torville, Dan Moreira, Craig Jansen for your top three in the Pro class and overall, and then 4th, 5th, and 6th is your AM class leaders: Braxton Jarrett, Jim Dutton, and Anthony Hutchinson. But everyone's separated by a few seconds. This is the best battle on the track. That's where we keep hanging in that right here. McLaren in 8th, Cesar Colon Torres in 9th. It seems to be most likely that Cesar Colon Torres would walk away the champion here. We'll wait till we get the official word after the race, and obviously Craig Jansick, his main competitor, Chris Appleton, not here tonight, and then an outside shot from Bryce Reiner, and it looked like it was going very, very well, and exactly how Reiner wanted it to happen until issues cost him the race, and maybe not cost him the championship, because I think Craig Jansick got a good enough bounce back here to lock it up anyway. But it's been a fun one here for the season finale. Need to wind out these last few laps and crown out some champions. Talk to the top three from both divisions as usual. We'll talk to some of the admins, Jim Dutton and Craig Jansick, about what's going on in the future, what's looking out for season 13. Again, like Jimmy said, we're going to start it up. I agree with what Jimmy. It sounds like we're going to be brought back on board. We'd absolutely love to be, but we'll let the head honchos make those calls. We'll just sit back and enjoy this great racing that the league puts on here. So we're going to have a battle all the way to the end. That 15th round bell is about to hit ding ding as we're getting close to the end of this thing.
He's closed up on that bumper now. He moves to set him up for either a dive into an entrance or the runoff exit. But backing up just a little bit, I think he knows that he's too close to kind of throw it away altogether and find himself losing too many spots. He's got a nice gap back there to Trent, but definitely can find himself in a better situation here if he can find his way around the 85. He just has to hit his marks and get in there. You can see right off the nose here of Caesar's 007, just trying to find every single which way to get around the 85 and McLaren from Ace Motorsports. It just been a battle back and forth, and obviously they're not even in the realm of even talking to them tonight on the podiums. But so again, plenty of camera time here as the other drivers have kind of made their mark. It does look like Tyler Turbo's there in first, Dan Moreira in second. Craig Jansen has fought his way back up in the P03. Has gotten a few laps led here tonight, being off cycle, but definitely was not able to come back and put that 88 machine to the front here tonight. Not until 5 minutes remaining, so it would take Dan Moreira and Tyler Turbo. Oh, what a little flop! And there goes the battle, but it looks like the 007 is he letting up to allow the battle to happen? What is going on?
They're side by side here, and not sure what exactly happened as they go by Herbert Pineda. They're still side by side heading down into Moss, and yeah, it looks like maybe Cesar Colantore is letting him on by there. We'll take a look at what happened there, as it looked like it might have been Herbert Pineda off the track, goes well wide, stays in the gas, comes back on the track in front of these two battling, and then you see right there a move to the inside, and Pineda getting into the side of McLean. And that's just sent him around. Well, we'll get you back live, because here is the battle coming out of the final corner once again, and Colon Torres getting pushed out wide. As we'll check in with Barney here, but I don't believe we have the white flag yet. Now he is either asleep, sleepwalking, because he's got his eyes open there. But either way, no white flag just yet, as we get back over to the battle. Right now, McLean still holding that spot, and yeah, like Jimmy said, I mean, we watch this battle pretty much the entire race. We're not going to get to talk to any of them, because neither of them are in the top 3 for their respective class here in the M class, but they got plenty of camera time for sure, and they've been the talk of the race. Herbert Pineda now right behind him as well, and that is for overall position, as this is 7th, 8th, and 9th on the track, but it's really 7th and 8th that we've had our eyes on for quite some time. And it's not over yet, but Tyler Torville coming through the Moss corner here and down the backstretch. We'll keep an eye on him here, as he hasn't had much time on camera, but he has had plenty of time out front, and he is out there possibly going to see the white flag this time by. Great job up by the 22. 404 back there in the distance has been closing in on him slowly but surely. It's under 5 minutes right now, and Cesar Colon Torres in pit lane. And Jimmy, is that from too many incidents? Not sure if it's too many incidents, or if that is just from some damage or a meatball, or what the case is. Still do not have the white flag, as Torville's gonna have to go around at least one more time. But now things are getting interesting, as it looks like, okay, Cesar Colantore is back out there on the track, only going to lose one spot to Pineda, so he's still out there in 9th place. But very, very interesting to see him come in. Maybe that was out of fuel. Maybe he was, just needed to get enough fuel to get this thing out all the way to the end.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the incident. Let me see if they have an incident limit. I wonder if it will show me. Check the info here. They are allowed 24x, and according to what I'm seeing, he's very close to that. So if there's something that SDK missed, it could have been his time. So definitely in that realm of all the edge grabbing, all the grass grabbing there for the 007. Might have cost him there that final little quick stop there, stop and go in the pits. Maybe just a drive-through. Did he stop? Did he actually stop, or did he
stop? He stopped for about 4.5 seconds. So yeah, not sure what that was, but either way, you seen Barney waving that flag. One more lap left in the season. Tyler Torville, 5-second lead over Dan Marrero, just needs to bring this thing home. Greg Jancic back there, another 8 seconds in third, so the top three look like they're pretty much locked in. Keep an eye on fourth and fifth, which is first and second in the AM class. They just took the white flag, heading down in through turn number 2. Braxton Jarrett doing a good job holding off Jim Dutton for the time being. He's got a 1.5-second lead. Back a little bit further in the pack, and Herbert Pineda is actually going to get past Steve McLean, himself back up into 7th overall. So McLean is now going to be right in front of Cesar Colon Torres, which it just feels right for that being the case and not having a car in between them, as they've been nose to tail for quite some time, and now it's a 20-second difference in between the two of them. But Tyler Torville coming out of the last corner and gonna see the checker flag from the front. Tyler Torville, your winner here in the 2-hour championship finale. Bryce Reiner coming home right there, but it's Dan Marrero coming home in second. Bryce Reiner a couple laps down. Third place is going to be Craig Jancic, getting that podium after everything that's gone on. So we'll take a look at your leader here and your winner, Braxton Jarrett, bringing it home in the AM class for a 4th place. But a win in the AM class. Jim Dutton coming home in second. Anthony Hutchinson now finally coming across in 3rd place. And I don't think it's going to be enough to get him a championship here tonight. Again, we'll unofficially call the champions for the pro, Craig Jancic and Cesar Colon Torres, but we'll wait for the official word here in a bit. But heck of a run, and got to give it up for Tyler Torville. I know both Tyler and Todd have been in the series here for quite some time, and I can pretty confidently say, at least as long as we've been covering him, Tyler Torville has not seen the top step of the podium, and we've only maybe interviewed him a few times, but this has got to feel absolutely fantastic. More than 22 getting it done here tonight, and even Dan Marrero coming home. A heck of a great drive for his 2nd place here tonight. I mean, the top 3 is kind of what you want to see. I mean, you have Jancic up there, which you kind of expected, but the other two, not seeing the podiums too often, and you love to see it in the 2-hour season finale.
Yeah, like I said, it's the endurance event is a whole different animal. It's, obviously it was almost 3 times like 3 other races as one. So definitely a good time to get out there among your fellow league mates and show them what you got. Show them that you have the consistency, the endurance to finish this thing out.
Well, we are officially done for the season, but before we get into any interviews and everything like that, Jimmy, why don't you give us one final rundown of tonight's finishing order?
The final rundown of the final race for CSRL for season 13, or is it 12?
12, yep. 12.
Yeah, it's going to be Tyler Torville with Dan Marrero and Craig Jancic for your top 3. Then Braxton, Jarrett, Jim Dunn, and Anthony Hutchinson for your basically another running of your pro and AM for the 1 through 6. And then Herbert Pineda finished in 7th, Steve McLean in 8th, Cesar Colon there in 9th, and Trent Bullock in 10th. 11th place will be Glenn Luzon, making a pretty good comeback after an early incident. Then Brandon Potts in 12th, Christian Ortiz Torres in 13th, William Burrell in 14th, Bryce Reiner in 15th, Ian Wilson in in 16th, Paul Bailey in 17th, Todd Torville in 18th, and Robin Falvey. Bought the track tonight, decided to not learn the track while trying to finish up the finale. So, but definitely got a chance to get out there, maybe get some practice laps in. So that, and he already had like a 7-hour drive, so would have been a long time in the car for Robin. But good that he got a chance to get out here and at least get a couple laps in here with the fellas, and look forward to seeing that 67 car out in the following seasons.
Want to send a shout out and a thanks to our series sponsors for the season here once again, and that being 40 Racewear and Martin PC. For of course it closes out as soon as I open it up. Anyway, 40 Racewear, they are the makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 Racing sim racing shoes, custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, while still providing the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products, including the original racing gloves for your feet. For Martin PC, they are focused on providing high-quality PCs, rigs, and components at an affordable price. Your investment in sim racing is exactly the same as with an actual car. They take that same methodology at Martin. From the engine PC to the chassis rig, pedals, wheels, and shifter, you deserve components that match your desire to compete. We want to make a mention as well in regards to 40 Racewear, as if you're going to be heading to the Sim Gaming Expo coming up here, definitely check out the 40 Racewear booth, as they will be there, and trying to get the code. And I'll make sure. There we go. It's if you're looking to get tickets for the show, you can get 10% off admission by using the code 4DR10. So if you're looking to go to the Sim Gaming Expo, check it out. Get yourself a little discount as well. And definitely head on over and check out Jim Herrick, and definitely say hi, and at least say hi for us, since I won't be able to make it out there. But let's go ahead and get ready for some interviews here tonight, and some well-deserved interviews from some of these drivers, and maybe some long overdue interviews for some of these guys. We'll go ahead and start with our third place finisher here tonight, and it's not often that we say third place finisher, especially after a 2-hour race. But the third place finisher tonight is going to be the 88 of Craig Jansen. And Craig, I know you like to finish out these championships and finish on a high note. And I know you like to get it done with a win in the season finale. But I'll be damned if you didn't have just about everything go wrong for you in the first half hour of this race.
First half hour? First like 4 laps, man. That was crazy. Pretty good size in that code there with Anthony. I think we would have came out the other side just fine. I was obviously upset at the moment because you feel like your car gets hit, and that's no good. So Anthony and I just talked. We figured it would be all good there. The other incident right before pit lane there, I'm just glad that's where it happened, because that meant that I could make the quick decision to just hang it right, get this thing fixed, and get back moving. And I'll never know if it was the right decision or not, but I put on all 4 tires right there when I had to come in for the fasty, when we were skewed out pretty good. And it's easy for me to look at the gap to the leaders here as 12 seconds and think that my pit stop, if I didn't take 4 tires, was going to be about 8 seconds. And you think that difference would be pretty well made up. Who's to say? Instead, it was a 20-second pit stop, and we ended up 12 seconds behind. And we'll never know. My tires were pretty cooked. I turned off the traction control to try to get that looped around straight, and I don't think I would have survived, to be honest with you. But who's to say? I'm just glad that honestly I had an absolute blast out here tonight. This track is so fun. This season has been so amazing, and to get another championship here at CSRL, another one that did not come easy by any means. Plenty of challenges to try to get through this entire season, and I think the first half of this race is kind of a microcosm of that.
Well, I guess the good thing that happened for you is coming in and taking that early pit stop. It got you some clean air, and I gotta imagine that's kind of what you were longing for. I know you kind of backed yourself up in the field, going a little bit wide in turn number 2 right from the start, and then obviously the 2 incidents we talked about. But trying to come up through that field, it seemed like you were losing about 1.5 seconds just getting caught up behind some of the slower drivers in the field. So that clean air, just it had to be exactly what what you needed.
Yeah, it definitely got me to put down some really, really good lap times in the first part of the race there. I think I was able to get down into my purple lap still while Bryce was here, and I was kind of measuring against him at that point to see where we might end up, or if I should just fall into a huge fuel save and still try to eliminate a pit stop. Not too sure how that would have eventually played out, of course. I think he was about 5 seconds ahead of Tyler at that time, so it would have been, yet another hurdle to come over. But the clean air, as you said, was just incredible. This track, it really has a lot of NASCAR-esque tendencies applied to the cars. It's kind of hard to pass. There's not a lot of, it's pretty fair. If you defend outside, you'll probably get a good launch off. If you defend inside, they might get to your outside and be able to kind of, stall out some air on your rear end there and really make it hard for you to get the power down on the inside. So it's one of those tracks where, the clean air was a good idea. Obviously, yes, I tossed it all away with my turn 2 wideness there. And, that started the spiral, I guess. But it's still, it didn't really have a whole lot of outcome. A whole lot of a different outcome. I think that the pace was really good, and I'm a little smoked. It's a pretty hard drive, no matter what. This is a track that takes a lot of focus because there's really no room for error, and I appreciate that about a course like this.
Well, you get it done, and you had enough pace to get up there all the way to the podium, and we were kind of debating on how far it was going to be because we seen that extra pit stop that was going to be needed by you, and I kind of wonder where that was going to shake out. We thought, top 10 definitely on the boards, top 5 is a possibility, but you drove hard enough to get yourself up here on the podium. So congrats on a heck of a comeback from everything that went on here tonight. Congrats on yet another championship here in the pro class for CSRL. Before we let you go and get out of here. And we'll bring you back in here once we start talking to Jim as well. But who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to in the meantime?
Yeah, we'll start with a huge thanks to you guys at Core Racing Network. Season long, high quality coverage, high quality interviews. What more could you really want as a league administrator? So cheers to both of you, Jimmy, Carl, everyone in the background at CRN. Thanks for all you do. Thanks to my support system. I'm going to thank Mom, Dad, Aunt Sandy, Anna, Chris. I'm going to shout out specifically Bryce here as a personal friend too. Thank you for pushing, on the what do I want to say here? The way that you get lifted up by the people that love you and appreciate you. It does more to a person than a lot of words could ever really put. It could come out. It makes you a better competitor, makes you a better person, and I'm so appreciative for my people. So thanks to all of you individually and together. Thanks to Team Conti Sim Performance. They're the only reason that I even had an idea of what this track layout was coming in here. And then we put a little bit of a wing here on the Ford, and we got it ripping. Thanks to Digital Sim Sports, my endurance team, Studio 3 for my graphics, and Martin PC, always been around for me and for my teams and Digital Sim Sports and TCSP alike. And then another special shout out here to Sammy, who rode with us all season. We gave her a lot of good sniffs to have in a lot of different countries, a lot of different continents, and a whole lot of clean air on that nose, just like on the car. And dogs are always the biggest part of the family, and I'm honored to be able to represent that here. So, boys, we wrapped up another one, and I'll be back to talk more about the administrative stuff, as you said. But we got a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline, man.
It sounds good, and yeah, definitely. I'm sure Sammy was holding on with both paws on this one as you were laying down those laps to try and get back up through that field. So, congrats here once again on the championship on the podium here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate just for a little bit before we bring you back in here. But congrats once again here on the run tonight.
10-4. Thank you, boys.
That is your third place finisher here tonight. It's the 88 of Craig Jancic. Second place is going to be the 404 of Dan Marrera, holding down the fort here for 40 Racewear.
Hey, Dan, Jimmy and Carl, open the booth copy.
Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Carl.
Hey, man, you holding it down for 40 out there. Jim out there rooting you on, supporting obviously that 40 Racewear paint scheme you guys been representing all season long. It's awesome to see you up here in second place overall and at an endurance event. So a long time out there, 2 hours here at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Speedway, I guess if you want to call it that. It's just a lot of fun out there. I know the track. Got plenty of laps here myself, but it was a lot of fun watching you. A little uneventful with some of the things happening, but hey, you got yourself a great run and just showed that you have the ability to go that extra mile and put yourself in a position to be on that podium here tonight. So I wanted to say congratulations and kind of get your side of the story and how everything was for you for the last 2 hours.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it was MoSport is one of those tracks that I have raced a lot, but I have raced it on the IndyCar. So with that car being so hard on the suspension, you can kind of feel the bumps and every little thing on the track. So I know it pretty well. I'm not a fast driver, but consistency is my thing. So tonight it was all about not making mistakes. That was the plan from the start. We got lucky avoiding the incident on lap 1, and then managing the tires, managing the pace, managing the gaps. At some point, kind of halfway through the race, I started thinking of fuel mileage, because it was going to be right there where maybe some people were going to need a splash if they pushed really hard. So since I knew like maybe Craig was going to come back and pass me and Tyler was too far ahead and I had a little bit of a gap behind, so I started managing that and I was kind of settling for third. Then I saw that Craig was on a different pit strategy. I think it was due to an incident. So yep. I kind of figured he was going to have to do a pit in between. So that's when on the last stint, I kind of tried to push as hard as I could, but I was already tired. I'm not that fast. So I kind of did what I could and came out with the second place for the 4DRacewear.com.
Yeah, it's definitely a great showing. You know that consistency is huge, and if you're like me, and get in events, it's 90% of the races. If you can just survive and be consistent, you'll get yourself a top 5. But you did it here tonight in that 40 Racewear car, and like I said from earlier, CRN wants to say congratulations, man, and look forward to seeing you next season. But before we let you get out of here and celebrate, we wanted to give you the opportunity for any shouts they might have.
Just before I go, I want to say I just started getting the hang of that damn McLaren GT3. It took me like 3 seasons to get a hang of it, and tomorrow is the update, right? Or next week.
Yes.
So I'm going to start from scratch again. I'm probably going to send me back to amateur again, because man, the timing is the worst, I tell you. It only took me like 2 years to learn it. So yeah, shout out to Jim Herrick, the owner of 4DRacewear.com. 4DRacewear.com, gloves, shoes, shirts, hats, everything you need for sim racing. Super cool guy, cheap prices, good product. I mean, he lets me race with his logos on my car. He's the awesome guy. Thank you for letting me, make an ass of myself with your paint jobs.
Yeah, it's definitely something iRacing keeps us on our toes, and I don't know if it's going to be too bad. I think it's just a tire model change,
it's going to be bad. You're going to be terrible.
And an arrow. I mean, if you've had the opportunity to run them GTPs for their tire change, I remember. We'll just take the simple instance of the kink at Daytona after the International Horseshoe, where you could run it with full throttle. You then had that be on the opening laps in the GTP car. You had to be in third gear or you'd be off the track. It was really a really different challenge. So every driver's going to have to go through it, and I think you'll be all right. And see how obviously you said it took a little while, but you finally got it down, and you might surprise yourself. So I want to put yourself down too much. You've had quite a few pretty decent races here. So, but again, from CRN, we just want to say congratulations, man, and we look forward to seeing you, whether you're in the AM or the Pro, just seeing you out there on the track.
Into the top 5 in the championship in the end with this. I hope I did.
There you go. Top 5 is somewhere to start. There's a lot of competitive drivers out there, and you showed that you belong there. So don't sell yourself too short there, buddy. But again, congratulations, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Thank you, guys.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 404 of Dan Morera. Top spot here tonight in the race, and finally getting it done, and finally getting the monkey off his back, finally getting a complete race in. It just took a 2-hour race to get you up here in the top spot. Tyler Torville, driver of the 24, your winner here tonight. Tyler, are you breathing okay? Has the heart rate come down at all? Are you still with us?
I'm good now. I was
So, I mean, tell me about what's going through your head. Obviously, you're out there, you're doing good. You're up there in second. Craig had his issues early on in the race, put him way back in the running order. Bryce looked like he was kind of running away with it, and then all of a sudden, he's gone.
Yeah, I'll just be completely honest here. I should not be talking to you guys with taking home first. I mean, Bryce had this in the bag. I mean, well, Bryce and or Craig. Obviously Craig had some incidents, which that's racing. Bryce's issue though, that was not incident related. That was just pure connectivity issues. I hate that for him. But I mean, just for me, myself, I did not come into this race comfortable. I just started learning this track Sunday night. And I felt okay, but certainly not fantastic at it. But crossing the line at first, I mean, I can't lie, it feels good.
Yeah, I mean, how long has it been here in the series? I know you've been in here for quite some time, and we've talked to you maybe once or twice here in the booth in the top 3. But finally getting home and getting a win, regardless of how it happens, you gotta take them where you can get them, and it's gotta feel twice as good getting it done here on the season finale, 2 hours long.
Oh yeah, it feels great. I mean, I feel like this has been my best season here with CSRL. I've never had the pleasure of speaking to you guys until 2 weeks ago. That was the first time, I think. So I mean, this was a good season for me. I've seen a lot of improvements with my driving, and it just feels good. I mean, I'm trying to find stuff to say because I'm still kind of speechless. But
understandably,
yeah, it feels good.
Absolutely. Well, maybe it's the Ace Motorsports paint scheme on that thing. As it seemed like the team was about half the field out here tonight. You guys are growing. I don't know if it's a virus going around or what the case is, but you're growing out there.
We showed up.
I mean, listen. Me and Jimmy have said it so many times. Look fast, go fast, and it's certainly it's working out for you right now. As the paint scheme got you the win here tonight. So I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, it's been so long since we've seen you out here so many times having some good speed, some top 5 speed, and that one thing or another happens and you get taken out or whatever the case is. But we've seen you have so many good runs just kind of get thrown away, and everything kind of falls in your lap here tonight. So absolutely congratulations from the CRM booth to you for getting your win here tonight. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I would certainly appreciate it to you guys. Shout out to my wife, who I don't think she actually watched tonight's race, but shout out to her, my wife, my daughter, who is sleeping upstairs, everyone over at Ace Motorsports, my mom, my dad, I'm sure they're watching, everyone here at CSRL. It's always a blast to race with these guys every Wednesday.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll let you go and celebrate the win all off season and get ready for next season. But congrats on the win here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate, and we'll see you next season.
All right, thanks, guys.
Your winner here tonight in the 2-hour season finale, the 22 of Tyler Torville. We'll switch it over to the AM class now, and we're going to start off, Jimmy, with our third place finisher, the 2 of Anthony Hutchinson.
Hey, Anthony, this is Jimmy Carlton, Booth Cappy.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, well, welcome back. First of all, I missed you the past few weeks, and obviously we didn't know how rusty you were going to be, and you showed that you lost nothing. You were able to take a few weeks off and then come right back out on the track and just could pick up where you left off and running up in the heck up there in the top 3 there for a while, and obviously settling down here at the end in 6th place overall. But one heck of a run there by the 2 Porsche and that Ace Motorsports car, and it was fun to watch. So give us a little rundown how your race was, since it was pretty much like 3 times the regular length.
Yeah, no, it was long. It was a long race. A lot of work on a short track. The Porsche felt fabulous the first, 10 to 15 laps, but you could definitely tell the tires just didn't want to stay with it for the length of the race, or even for the length to go get fuel. And the guys that were running Mustangs just had at least I thought they had a very good advantage in that area. Jim was a force to reckon with when my tires were starting to wear down, and I guess the easiest way to put it is I just ran out of talent. I gave it my best, and I ran out of talent. So I guess that's what happens when you take 2 weeks off.
I mean, if 6th is bad for taking some time off, I mean that's not bad at all. So I mean, there's a lot of talent out there, and I think that at times, because I love driving the Porsche as well, but there's just at times it seems certain tracks it just it likes to hinder itself, whether it's not being able to stick in a combo corner, or those tires are going away too quickly. But you get it done here tonight with the 3rd place overall. I'm not sure how the points shook out yet. I'm sure we'll get a rundown here as things go on. So I know we're in a little battle there because it took so much time off. So we'll see how the AM points unfold as this race was a big factor. But go ahead.
Coming into tonight's race, I wasn't sure if there was a chance that I could even rebound from it. So I wasn't truly banking on it to begin with. So that's work life came up. I had to take off. So it is what it is. But in the event that I think Caesars has the current lead, so if that's how it shakes out, absolutely congratulations to him. Well done, good season. We'll come back next year swinging and see where we finish out.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, like I said, I was telling Carl, I was like, real life happens. You got to go to work, or you got to do family stuff comes. You got to put that stuff first. And we all love to do this hobby as much as possible, but sometimes outside commitment kind of takes over. So can't always. Yeah,
I'll be hiddenly crying in my closet about the trophy, though. I'll definitely be in the closet crying because I'm not getting that cool looking trophy. I'm not gonna lie, that part right there looks really nice. They released the trophy
light up and everything, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. They release what the trophy's going to look like, and then my schedule at work releases that I'm out of town for the next 2 weeks. I'm like, that's the story of my life right there.
Some bullshit.
If there could be a picture painted, that's the Mona Lisa, my friends.
Well, in either case, it was fun watching you out here when you're out on the track, and look forward to seeing you next season. And hopefully you don't have work take you away too often. But anyways, congratulations on the 3rd place. So the AM 6th place overall. So the second time we've had this happen, where the top 6 for 1, 2, 3 for the pros and 1, 2, 3 for the AMs. So again, congratulations, and give you some time for any shouts you may have on that number 2.
Oh yeah, definitely. First and foremost, want to shout out to my team members over at Ace Motorsports. We always work hard leading up to these races, trying to get practice sessions in. So without those guys, Tyler, Braxton, Ace, Todd, Trent, Bevan, all those guys over there, we get together and we practice to get better, to be prepared for these races. So obviously a shout out to those guys, my family, my wife who's watching, my father who's watching, my daughter, my son Mason who's watching. Shout out to him. And anyone else out there that I forgot to mention, there's another shout out for you guys. But ultimately, shout out to you guys for putting us on. Jim does a great job. You guys do an absolute fabulous job broadcasting. I do enjoy getting to watch it the next day. So thank you for that. And we'll see what next year brings.
We'll definitely see what next year brings, and hopefully some more victories, or even maybe a move. pro.
Yeah, definitely going to be a move. I will be switching to pro, so we can go ahead and get that one out. So I will be switching to pro. So my odds of getting to talk to you are probably going to get a lot slimmer. So maybe just phone call here and there to let me know we're still thinking about me.
Well, we'll always be thinking about you, but the one thing that's coming that's looming after this week is the change to the GT3. So we'll see what iRacing has done to make this thing maybe better or more difficult to drive. So I'm looking forward to it. Change isn't always nice. I'm sure there'll be a lot of complaining and heartache for a while, but we'll get it all back down on the pavement again. So, but again,
the good part is we're all on the same grounds. We all got to learn the new setup. So kind of just is what it is.
You're just wondering who's going to be the new favorite car for iRacing, as it seems to be tossed around a little bit. Audi here, Acura here, Porsche here. Now the Ford's gotten some love. So who's going to be that car?
Well, time will tell. We'll see it start of next season. We'll see what the top guys are running. Hopefully that'll answer our questions for us.
We'll definitely find out here quickly. So again, congratulations and thanks for the shout outs, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good night.
You too, man.
That is your third place finisher in the AM class, 6th overall, Anthony Hutchinson, and the 2. Top spot here tonight, as we're going to skip over our second place for now. So top spot in the AM class is going to be the number 1 of Braxton Jarrett. Braxton, you had a heck of a run out there. You started up there in the top 5, but kind of just hanging out in the back half of the top 5, in the top 10 there, and eventually towards the end of the race, it seemed like that one started coming alive. You started picking off some spots and get you all the way up here to the top spot in the AM class.
Yeah, it was a good time. I knew the car was fast. I had the Mustang. It was sticking the corners really well, even towards the end of the runs. There wasn't much tire wear. I was pretty much chasing Anthony and Jim the whole time. I didn't know if I was really ever going to get around them. It ended up happening. Anthony kind of spun there at the end and allowed me to get around him, and I was about 4 seconds back from Jim, caught up to him, and just got a good run off of the last turn, got on the inside of him, and ended up putting a 2-second gap on him. It was just a good race. I had a couple spins toward the beginning of the race. Didn't know if I'd come back for it, but it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like once you got past Jim there, that you were going to kind of check out, and it was going to be your race to win there in the M class, but you couldn't really just get away from him, as you guys were kind of within 1 second there for just about the entire second half of the race, the way it seemed, and only getting the win done there by 0.68 seconds. So, was it a lot of just trying your best to focus forward? Was there a little bit of mirror driving to just kind of keep an eye on him back there?
So the last time I pit, y'all probably noticed I came in earlier than both Anthony and Jim. I pushed the car so hard catching Jim on my second stint that I had no choice but to pit a lap early. I knew it was probably going to hurt me in the long run, so there was a ton of fuel saving going on during that last stint, which allowed Jim to catch up to me. Thankfully, I was able to fuel save enough and keep him behind me. If I would have had to pit, obviously my race would have been over, but it worked out for the better, and thankfully so. I just came into this league. They kind of let me in last minute, and I'm happy to make my mark.
Yeah, and that you did here tonight, getting your maiden win in the M class. So congrats on the win here tonight at the 2-hour season finale. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, big shout out to all my teammates over at Ace Motorsports. Anthony, Bevan, Trent, Tyler, Todd, all those guys. We always practice, and Steven too. We practice Mondays and Tuesdays getting ready for these races. And like I said, I when we were doing that, I knew it was fast. So big thanks to them. Shout out to my dad, he's watching, so shout out to him, and my mom for putting up with me racing most nights and making all this noise out here.
Understandably. Well, you got to make the biggest noise here tonight in the M class, and congrats on the win here. We'll let you go celebrate, and hopefully we see you next season.
Appreciate it, guys.
That's your winner here tonight in the AM class, of 4th place overall, the 1 of Braxton Jarrett. That is going to wrap up our interviews in regards to the finishing positions. We're going to bring in Jim Dutton. He finished second here tonight, and we'll give him his due a little bit. Actually, it looks like having a little chat, but we're going to bring him in mid-chat anyway, as we'll have our own little chat with the second place finisher here in the AM class. So before we get to the meat and potatoes of next season and everything else going on, let's talk me through tonight's race, as it was a heck of a race. You had a heck of a battle up there between you, Anthony, and Braxton, and it looked like, I just got done saying to Braxton, it looked like once he got by you that he was going to kind of check out, and it was going to be 1-2 for you guys, but you did not let him go at all the rest of the race.
Well, yeah. Other than mowing the grass and hitting the wall once.
Other than that, we did catch that. We did catch that.
Yeah. So I'm not proud of that moment, but I was driving as hard as I could. The car had a bit of an alignment change, and it actually turned better right. So every right turn I was catching him, but every left turn he was gapping me a little bit. So that was fun. He pitted a little bit early too, and I think that forced him to fuel save a bit, which I had just enough. I think my car ran out of fuel turn one after the checkered flag, so it was perfect. I'm glad I did a little bit of fuel saving earlier on in the race. I'm so happy about that.
Well, it's a good thing alignment-wise that this track is a clockwise track, and it kept you within reach of getting that win here tonight. And how much were you kind of digging for that? I know you're kind of like Craig. You enjoy seeing other guys out there and getting some of these wins, but last race of the season, 2-hour season finale, you see it within reach. I mean, how much were you digging?
I mean, if I wasn't competitive, would I like this as much? I'm not sure. I was pushing. I of course I wanted it. Like I'm not in it for the points or anything like that. I missed too many races, but I really just wanted. Top step of the podium would be fantastic, right?
Of course.
And we wouldn't have had to do this awkward order for I'm runner up, and even though I'm coming in the first place, right?
Yeah, you're screwing it up for us, but we'll let it go. We'll let it go. You're the reason why we're here, so I guess we'll let it go this time. But if you can clean it up for next season and make it a little bit smoother transition, it'd be great. Oh, did we lose you?
Maybe.
Jim, you got a copy?
I'm here.
Well, the other Jim.
I'm here.
There were two Jims in here. Well, it looks like maybe some difficulties with Jim Dutton here. So in the meantime, I guess we'll bring in our other two admins here while Jim figures out what's going on his end. So I guess I should check first. Craig, Bill, did we get a copy?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, yeah, not sure what happened with Jim. Was we were kind of mid conversation there, and I was kind of giving him some crap about finishing second, so it messed up the order of interviews here tonight with trying to bring him in last. But either way, we got you guys in here now, and kind of want to talk to you guys about what you think of the season. Season 12 here, how you think it went. I mean, me and Jimmy, we echoed and kind of think that this season was once again a success. I mean, you guys had a ton of cars out there. This was by far your lowest count out here, and still almost 20 cars out here for the season finale. And I think we at least up in the booth seen a lot of good racing out here this season.
Yeah, I don't want to step on Jim. I don't know if he's got a technical issue going on or what the deal might be, but the car count, yeah. I mean, it's the start of summer. This happened to us last year, and I believe it happened the year before, but that was before my time. We see a little bit of a car count decrease over the summer. We're ideally, someday we're hoping for 40 to start a season. That's going to be really cool. We like to keep 30 as much as we can. Summer is a huge asterisk on that because, as you know, everybody gets involved in their own things. Well, if we're pulling 20 for a 2-hour season-ending championship pretty much decided in both fronts. I know we're not declaring an AM champion just yet until we have the points exactly tabulated, but I think we have a lot to be proud of. We have core groups of people. We have people that are getting introduced to us every single race. It feels like I see a new name on the leaderboard, and I think that speaks not just to what we built here in terms of a league by the iRacing standards. I think it proves more that we built a network and a group of people that just really like GT3 racing and really like what we put on here on Wednesday nights.
Can you guys hear me?
Hey, there you go. Now we got you.
Yeah, my apologies. My computer crashed.
Oh,
so,
nice. Well, at least it was after. At least it was after your second place here tonight. But yeah, we just got done talking to Craig about kind of wrapping up this season and kind of your thoughts on the season that came by, and the good car counts, and you mentioned about some good traffic in and out with some new guys coming in.
Right. No, absolutely. And the new guys seem really enthusiastic about it too, so that's great.
So now we take a look forward. You guys got a season 13 coming up. I guess that the first question is, do you have an idea on the start time yet? Are you guys going to be taking a few weeks off? You're going to wait till the iRacing season kicks back off here? And along those lines, thoughts on the changes here to the GT3s coming up?
So we're not going to change a whole bunch. We're looking at raising the I rating. Just chatting about that a little bit just before we got into chat with you guys. We will start on iRacing's week 2. So we will be taking, I think, 2 weeks off. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong there. I think we're on week 12 right now.
I think it might be 3 weeks, because I think next week is week 13, and then something like that. I'm not sure. I'm doing enough officials to actually give you a correct one on that. So
yeah,
but yeah, so 2-3 weeks. Okay.
Yep. Just enough time to kind of spread the gospel of CSRL again and get more new people interested. Not much else is going to change. I think if it isn't broke, you don't fix it. And we're pulling in substantial car counts pretty much week in and week out, and it's been great. I agree with Craig. The goal is 40 cars at the beginning of the season. That would be unreal to see. But summer's tougher. Anyway, Craig, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I'll just speak to the real big scary red flashing question mark, which would be the iRacing build that's coming in 6 days time. Yes, we obviously know what has been stated that's going to be coming, effectively a GT3 overhaul, new tires, some aero tweaks. Obviously that's going to come with setup tweaks, which means that we're probably looking at an entirely new balance of performance. Like top down, what might be a top speed car now might not be in the future. What might have bad front tire drag now might not in the future. So that is going to be the true hurdle for us to all kind of get our legs over here. As Jim said, there's not a lot broke here. We're always looking to improve, refine what we know works. We listen to suggestions from within. I think better than any league that I've ever been able to participate in, whether it's road or oval. Our survey participation is always high and outspoken, and not just filled with praise. There's critiques in there, and we try to touch on all those as best as we can. The ceiling going up, that seems to be the iRating ceiling. That is that was pretty well voted in favor of. And I always speak to moving the skill ceiling up and up and up, and I think that that just supports the hell out of that. And the build itself coming around the corner, that's what we'll that's where we're all going to have to make our money next season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I know myself and Jimmy are kind of waiting and wondering to see how this thing is going to play out. I know he's had some experience with the new tires on the GTPs and LMP2s and what it takes for them, and it sounds like it's kind of going to be the same thing, that it's going to take a couple laps for those tires and the GT3s to really kind of warm up and stick, and it'll get interesting, because we've seen how many times this season where you and Chris kind of went at it at the beginning of the races where he had the pole, but you were just a little bit stronger on that opening lap to make that pass and end up turning into a win. So with the colder, tougher tires to get warmed up, it'll be real cool to see how that happens. For the season next year, I know you said you're going to be starting on week number 2. Are we looking at a set number of races? Do you have that locked down yet? If it's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11 races next season, or are you still working on the schedule?
It depends. We're not sure what schedule we're going to follow. It's either going to be IMSA or GT3, but we will do 10 races plus a special race at the end, just like we did this time around. And if you guys would have us, we would love to confirm next season with you as well.
Absolutely. You guys have Wednesday nights as long as you want us, and we enjoy it up here in the booth, and I'm sure we're probably looking forward to you guys trying to figure out these GT3s maybe a little bit before we do.
I'm gonna live vicariously through you guys. Look at that! I won't do that.
Look like a baby giraffe out there.
Exactly. So you're gonna 40 by the sounds of it. If that's what you guys want, 40 baby giraffes out there.
Are we implementing cautions after turn 1?
Well, based on Monza, we should probably have them before, right?
Single file restarts.
Yeah, that's something we've seriously talked about doing upon your suggestion as well, and it has been mentioned in the surveys that we throw up. I think it is a good idea. It's hard for us because we don't have any stewards, like dedicated stewards looking at the race, right? So we would have to throw the caution from the car, and the only way we can get to it really quickly is if we're one of the people that got hit, right? So it's kind of by chance that way. I'm not sure how to take care of that easily. It's something we're going to have to discuss, I think, but it is an idea.
One thing that I was kind of given the option to dig into, and I thought about it for our GT series, is that there's actually some programs out there that will automatically throw a caution for you. You can set a certain amount of incidents, and if the entire league for that night hits that the incident amount, it'll automatically throw a caution. So I know that I can get a little bit sketchy and a little bit funky, because you don't necessarily want to throw away a yellow with a lap or 2 left in the race. So that's why I kind of erred towards not doing it for us. But if that's an option that you guys want to look into, I can certainly get you some of the contacts for that. But before we kind of wrap this thing up, Jimmy, what do you have for these guys out over here?
No, just looking forward to next season, guys. To come out here like Wednesday, it's not like I gotta go to a lot of broadcasts for CSRL or a bunch of clowns out on the track. No, it's enjoyable out here. It's great racing. You guys are nothing but a pleasure to kind of come out here and watch and have fun with, and just keep the whole thing going, the whole partnership at the moment. So I enjoy it. I appreciate it, and I look forward to whatever you guys bring to the table.
Yeah, I can't say the same about Craig. I mean, he couldn't keep the car straight tonight. I don't know how he won a championship based on tonight. I mean, other than that,
rookie out there.
He was trying to give it to Bryce. Here, friend, take this.
And enjoy your move down to AM class next season, and see what you can do.
And while I was in the back, he must have had one of his kids head over to Bryce's house and unplug his Wi-Fi.
Yeah. This is to get a little sketchy here. Shut it off. Well, either way, once again, I'll echo Jimmy. It's been a fantastic season, and we certainly love the partnership with you guys, and love coming in here every Wednesday night. Whether you make us come in here 15 minutes early or not, we'll give you crap about it, but we'll get it done one way or another. This is it's been a blast, and certainly looking forward to lucky number 13 next season. So I want to thank you guys once again. I want to thank our sponsors here for the Series 40 Racewear.com and Martin PC for their help here for the season. And again, any sponsorship for Series and for leagues is an absolute blessing, and I'm sure these guys here at CSRL would absolutely welcome any kind of help that you have out there, whether it be for help paying out, race winners, for help paying for broadcasting, for, giving a t-shirt out randomly, anything that's out there that, gets your name out there as a business or friends or family, anything like that is definitely a help for leagues. So thank you to 40 Racewear, Martin PC for this season. We'll see who's out there for next season. Thank you to all the fans tuning in for this entire season. It's been a blast, but for myself, Jimmy, and all the admins here at CSRL, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.